What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Welcome, brand new Poker Live podcast. My name is Joey Ingram1, aka Chicago Joey. iTunes, guys, search Poker Life. All the podcasts are on iTunes. It looks like we got a lot of people watching on there, so that's cool. Before we get into it, actually don't have anything. That's it. Joining me today on the podcast is a young man. And you know, these people kind of intrigue me, guys, because I don't exactly know how it's possible to own a casino, but this man actually owns a casino over in the United Kingdom, Dusk Till Dawn Casino. And this is what I'm told by Rachel. Shout out Rachel for getting this set up. A founder of Party Poker Live, the live series for Party Poker, a partner in Party Poker. I'm not sure what exactly that means. We're going to find out more. And a lover, from what I've seen, of the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. And you guys know how that makes me personally feel. But also a man who's been known to play a very large amount of live high-stakes cash game poker. He said, no holds barred. Any question I can ask, and I don't know if I'll exercise that right to ask him any question that all you guys want to know at home, but we shall see what comes up here. Rob Yong, thank you for joining me on the podcast. What's going on, Rob?
No problem. Yeah, you just ask me anything. I'll just tell you the honest truth. So any question you want to ask, there's no problem.
So there's 100% of questions I can ask.
Yeah, Rachel said, "Do I want to see what you would ask me?" But I said no. Just let's just see what happens.
So, okay. So how, if people were saying, like, what do you do exactly? Because to me, it seems like you do a lot of different things. How would you describe yourself to people out there that don't know much about you?
Well, I started off in a normal business. So I was in a recruitment company and in my 20s. And one day I decided that wasn't for me. And when I was 30 and decided I wanted to travel the world, I walked into a casino and there was like 100 people just sitting down. And I thought, what are these guys doing? I'd never heard of poker. And I sat down trembling, paid my £20 entry fee. And then I got hooked from there on. So I did about 3 years traveling the world playing poker with all the old guys, Devilfish, Simon Trumper, all the old school. And when I came back to Nottingham, I went to my local casino, which I've been going in for 10 years. There was a new manager there. The manager said, "You're 1 minute late. You can't play." It was a £20 buy-in. I used to love it on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights. So unfortunately, I didn't get into the tournament. And me and my best friend Nick, who runs Party Poker Live now, we drove home. And as we were driving past, we saw this big building for lease. And Nick said, "Why don't we just have our own effing poker club?" And I said, "Okay, then do it." And we built the first 50-table poker room, I think, in Europe. And Dusk Till Dawn started 12 years ago. And we kind of just gone from there, really. As it was more of a hobby. It was a total hobby to start off with, just so our friends could come somewhere where they could turn up 5 minutes late and get into the poker tournament. So the first thing we did was introduce late registration. And everyone was like, "How can you let people register for a tournament late?" Well, that was the reason we opened the club. And we just did it for our friends, and then it kind of just got bigger and bigger, and it became like a business again, even though I hadn't planned on doing any work for the rest of my life.
So that happened with the Dusk Till Dawn. So you've been in charge of this, and obviously from the background, I've never been there, but it looks like it's a pretty beautiful place, and everything I've heard from online, from people in comments, seems to be that they also really enjoy that casino as well too. At what point in time did you get involved with Party Poker?
Well, I used to have some really close friends at Poker Stars. Good guys like Jimmy Monitz, Curtis Thompson, John Duffy, who now works with us on Party Poker Live, Jeffrey Haas, and they were good friends of mine. So Poker Stars were at a very low market share in the UK. So they decided to launch their PS Live UK IPT tour at Dusk Till Dawn, and we made a good, strong partnership to support them. And I wanted an EPT at Dusk Till Dawn because I used to play the EPTs. I think I was the first person to ever buy into an EPT when John Duffy started it. And they wanted to keep it in London, and in the end, WPT approached us, and we decided to give up the chance of having the hope of having an EPT. And we did WPT about 3 years ago at Dusk Till Dawn. Just put like 6 guarantees on it because WPT wasn't that strong in the UK at the time. Smashed every record. And WPT at the time was owned by Party Poker. And they wanted to do it again at the club the following the following year. I wasn't too keen on Party Poker 2-3 years ago. I thought they were a bit of a crappy site, and being affiliated with PokerStars, you felt a bit more premium.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of went down there. I went out with them, had a few drinks, and the MD at the time, a guy called Gerlan Shakik, said to me, "I don't know anything about poker. I'm a casino guy. Party Poker's 40% down year on year for the last 5 years. What the hell do I do?" So I said to him, "Okay, listen, I got some ideas for you." And he said, "Well, would you come in and help us?" And I said, "No, it's not something that I don't really want to start working again. But what I'll do for you is I'll do a presentation for you, all the things that you need to do." So I went home, wrote a document, did a dictation for the MD at the time, Golad, sent it to him, and a business plan for what I would do if I was in his position with Party Poker. And then he kind of called me again and said, "Listen, can we have a meeting, go through documents?" I went down, and he's such a nice guy. And then I met Tom Waters, who was the financial controller at the time. Tom's a lovely guy, very close friend of mine. And they said, "Listen, we love the plan, but can we have some help doing it?" I was like, "Oh God, and guys just and it took me out for a few beers, and after about 4 or 5 beers, I ended up getting myself involved, and that's where the partnership with Party Poker started, with myself, Dusk Till Dawn, all the guys at DTD, and all the guys at Party. So I agreed, and I think I spoke to my girlfriend at the time, whether I could commit to doing a year's worth of proper work, helping them out. And I kind of interested because they were 40% down year on year, and PokerStars was so strong. But PokerStars were fucking the players so badly that I just kind of thought something's not right here. Something doesn't feel right. PokerStars stay in the US, rape all the money out of the US. Party Poker, UK company, have to pull out. PokerStars get all the money and then wipe Party Poker out and tread all over them. So I kind of felt, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I kind of felt a bit sorry for Party Poker. So I decided that I'd commit to help them for a year, and they kind of come to an agreement that they would be open-minded and they would just go with the plan. So I did that for a year, and then GBC bought them. And as far as I was concerned, that was Party Poker, I think, grew 40-50% that year, mainly from the UK because that's where we were strong. And that was kind of it, really. And Golan left, and then when GBC took over, I think GBC was that interested in poker at the time. And then I met Kenny Alexander, the CEO of GBC, and I kind of like him. He's started off betting shop, sporting bet, entrepreneurial, not really a PLC guy, a bit he's a bit streetwise guy. And he said, "Damn, business has grown 40%. What are we going to do now with this Party Poker?" And I said, "Nothing to do with me. It's your baby." And then to and fro again, and then I decided, okay. So I then I ended up agreeing that we'd work together on a 5-year plan to try and have the 1% chance that Party Poker could return to being a decent company again, and that's why I'm involved now. That's the truth.
That'd be a long description for someone if they said, "What do you do?" And then I guess that means partner. So you're a partner in Party Poker, not an owner, but the owner's GBC, but you're the person that's one of the people that's in charge of it that makes decisions on the direction of the total company. Then,
yeah, I don't want to lie, I do make decisions. Yeah, I like to stay in the background and work with Tom. Tom's effectively GBC agreed to let Party Poker run autonomously with some financial constraints, and Tom's the MD, so Tom could do a billion guarantee for $1 if he wanted. So he's got that much freedom. And Tom's a young guy; he's in his 30s. I like him a lot. I'm a bit older, in my 40s. Kind of Party Poker can effectively make these decisions like cash back, doing crazy millions online, hiring Bahamas. It's got total autonomy. But in GBC want growth. GBC want to demonstrate growth to the stock market, and GBC are gamblers. Even though they're a PLC, they're not like a normal I mean, the owner Kenny owns racehorses. He messaged me and say, "What do you think?" He messaged me and say, "I'm back in Leicester tonight in the football." I mean, they're not like corporate tossers; they're actually decent people, so they're willing to gamble a little bit, and we gamble together. So myself and GVC have got like a rough 5-year plan mapped out, which we're 18 months through, and GVC just literally look at the growth and don't get involved. So it's effectively Party Poker is like an independent, flexible, agile company now, which is why you can see all these crazy things that go on. Scully, the guys come for cash game. No cash game until I've finished this, please, guys.
I've got 2. No cash. What do you mean no cash game? You're getting a cash game later?
Well, they're trying to get me in one tonight, but don't worry about it. So yeah, we've got the lovely waitresses here, Kyla.
Hello, what's up, guys? Is that the wait? Is this the back room? Is this where all the backroom gambling goes down over at Dusk Till Dawn Casino?
This is the private room, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's where it is with Party Poker. I think they're up at, I think Party Poker's up again, 40% NGR this year, but there's a lot of gambling going on, and that's what I kind of like about it, that Party Poker effectively gambles with the customers. Sometimes it'll get burnt for a bad overlay, sometimes it'll do really well. So having that culture of, I hate gaming companies who don't gamble with their customers. I don't think you just want to guarantee profit. You know, I like the approach of Party Poker where, okay, millions online, 20 million. Could it miss by 5 million? Definitely. But could it be a massive success? Possibly. I like that approach.
So is that the goal with the upcoming event in the Bahamas? So there's an event in November at the Bahamas, I believe the name of it is. So you're doing a big thing out there. So is that kind of the idea behind putting on an event like that then?
Yeah, the idea is to do stuff that's not in the market at the moment and work with the players and just be nice to the customers and do your best and gamble with them a little bit. So, you know, it's that's the approach.
Do you guys at Party Poker believe more rake is better? Or do you guys think that more rake is not better? Because I'm genuinely curious, as someone that actually does have a casino. Do you think that more rake's better for the players?
No, that's been like the most stupid ever comments ever said in the history. I mean, I played with Daniel 10, 11 years ago, and he's a vegetarian and seems a very nice chap. He's good for the table, but I mean, he's just getting paid by PokerStars and saying whatever needs to be said, I'm afraid. You know, yeah. I mean, people like Ike, they just jacked it in because they couldn't look at the players in the eyes, and neither could I. If Party Poker ever did anything bad or GVC anything bad, I would just stick 2 fingers up at them. You know, because you gotta sleep at night with the things that you do. So more rake is better. How can it ever be better to take money out of customers' pockets and give it to your shareholders? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the narrative that they've been trying to spin. And you know, I mean, I think they still do a service to the poker community and still provide a service as well. But I think a lot of the poker community has been thrilled with what they've seen from Party Poker in terms of the live events and the online direction of the site. And you mentioned you have a 5-year plan and we're 18 months in. Where does that sort of vision take you right now? Where do you foresee the company and the online poker site and the live poker events going to?
Well, I wouldn't say it's like a plan like regimented in stone, going to hit these numbers, hit these numbers, hit these numbers. It's more let's just go for it and see what comes out the end. I mean, the model, the fundamentals of the model are, I believe it's better to have a high revenue and a low percentage profit than have a low revenue and a high percentage profit. As a business, it's more sustainable and good for your customers. So let's say you turn over, in simple terms, 100 million and make 20 million. That's just the same as turning over 200 million and making 10%, 20 million, yeah? You make the same profit. So, whereas businesses generally, they just want to have a percentage. And I think PokerStars and Amaya, they're obsessed with the bottom line. And I think you can have a good, healthy, long-term company taking a bit less off your customers, giving a bit more back, and it's more long-term sustainable. Like you imagine, like a basic cash game. If you rate the cash game at $50 a hand, your margin might be high for 3 months, but after that, there's no game left. And I think poker's a very delicate industry where you have to effectively, the money you make from the players, a proportion of it has to go back to the players to keep them in the game, you know? And I think it's really important that the poker sites are responsible in the way that they return back to the players. And that's the general philosophy that I think for Party Poker, and where that philosophy takes Party Poker over the next few years, we'll see. I mean, the problem with poker players is often they don't see past the end of the nose. They can be quite selfish, and Party Poker are being very unselfish. They don't rake bounties on PKOs. They don't rake. They've got half price rake on their turbos. They give like up to 50% cash back to their players. They give free tickets to all the small players every week. Party Poker gives so much back, but I'm not sure whether collectively poker players are ever going to think, hold on, this company's being fairer to us, let's support them, because as soon as PokerStars do something, they're all on there. It's a bit like when the players tried to organise that strike on PokerStars. And so the players that thought all the pros would be striking decided to play because they thought the fields were weaker. But poker's an awkward industry to have a principle of being a fair and nice company. So I don't know whether it's going to work. But as a philosophy, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players obviously like it too, because that's how poker was for so many years, was that, you know, the rake was low and then it was beatable games. And the objective was, it seemed like, for the company to make money, but for poker players to be able to make money and to win at the game financially. And then obviously that took a turn, and that wasn't the philosophy anymore. But now it seems like you guys are really pushing that philosophy out there. And I mean, I don't know, to me, it makes sense. I think from some business people's perspective, they say, why do people have to win at poker? And I guess I want to ask you that question. Why does it matter to you that people can actually win at the game when they play the game? Why should it be a beatable game? Why not just have it be a game where you just donate rake and the company that puts the game on there wins, and then players have some fun, and then that's it?
Because it's an aspirational game. Playing poker, ultimately, even though the guy that might not admit it, the guys that play the £25 tournaments at my casino want to win $1 million and pay their house off and travel around the world. The whole thing about poker is the WPT made it, PokerStars made it. It's aspirational, and if you can't win, there's no long term. You might as well just play the lottery or play roulette and play blackjack for a living.
Right.
It's aspirational, and I think very important that it is a skill game. It's very important that players are allowed to win. I don't understand why it's such a crime. Let's just take a simple model. Use the 100 million model. There's 100 million in revenue. Let's say the company makes 10 million profit and gives 5 million back to the winning players. That's their winnings, and keeps 5 million itself. What's wrong with that? Let me explain it a bit better. This recreational model that everyone talks about, 100 million in revenue, the recreational players lose 70 million, the pros win 15 million, and the company makes 15 million. What the sites try to do is make the pros win nothing and the site make 30 million. Such a bullshit load of crap. Why don't the site just happy making a profit and letting the pros win? Because it's just a pool of money we're talking about in poker, isn't it? It's how you divide the money. Losing players, winning players, operator. Yeah. The operator doesn't want players to win, so there's more money in the losing pot, which they make a profit. So it's just a load of lies, really. And I can't believe like people even believe it. It's just poker is just an ecology. It's just a pot of money, and everyone takes a small piece. The operator, the winning players, and the losers. If you eliminate the winning players, guess whose slice gets bigger? The operator.
For sure. Yeah.
And I can't believe how stupid people are not to realize this. So all this stuff about let's get winning players win off the site. What they actually mean is winning players are winning potential profits for the operator.
Right.
Well, poker's a weird industry. People just don't get it. It's like, and all this stuff about no rake is better, more rake is better. We're looking after the recreational player. No, you're not. You're just trying to stop people being recreational players so you can put it in your own pocket.
Yeah, so you don't believe the protecting the recreational poker players? You don't think that's the case? That's what's going on right now with poker stars?
No, I think we should protect the recreational poker players by taking some of the tools that the pros use off them, like their HUDs, like all the information being available on sites like Shark, Scope, data mining.
Mm-hmm.
I think the site should invest in making the game fairer for the recreational players. I don't think they should try and make more money by penalising the winning players. So
is that something that you guys have potentially planned for Party Poker? Maybe just say something with HUDs or taking away some sort of software that professional players do utilize?
Yeah, I think I'd say that. I mean, there's a big project at the moment, an ecology project happening, which some of the pros are helping with, and we have some specialists in place, and Tom's working on it. And I pretty much think Party Poker's mission will be to be a technology-free site.
Mm.
That's the goal. But there's no point in going out and coming out announcing you can't use this and you can't use that unless you can stop people using it. So you have to just keep quiet, work hard. When you've got the solution, don't come out and say you're clean. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are a lot of sites now. I think there are not a lot of sites, but there's some sites now that talk about not being able to use HUD. And there's always a HUD that pops up, a black market HUD, or there's always a program for something that'll pop up on these sites that say they disallow things to happen like that. But I don't know. Do you follow any of this America's Card Room kind of thing like that? Are you familiar with this company at all? The Winning Poker Network, Phil Nagy down in Costa Rica in the Costa Rican Backroom. You familiar with this guy, Rob?
I don't know the guy, but a friend of mine, Patrick Leonard, is always sending me screenshots of what those crazy guys are doing. I think the last one he sent me a screenshot. They tweeted Party Poker hit by DOS attacks.
Did you see that one? So what happened, guys? You guys didn't know the ACR has been getting hit with this DDoS attacks for a long time. Party Poker got hit with a DDoS attack, and they tweeted out, ACR's Twitter account tweeted out an image of bombs falling on Party Poker with a DDoS attack like logo on the bombs. It was amazing. I couldn't believe they did that.
I mean, I think those guys are some comedy value. I mean, they'll do things like, I mean, Patrick sent me a tournament they did. It was like a million guaranteed, 250 buy-in, 11 hours of re-entry, and it finishes in 2 days' time. I mean, those guys are having a go, and I kind of like their style. I mean, I don't know them, but if you're out in a night in Vegas, I think they'd be a good night out. But so they're fun. I think they're fun guys, and I think the difference is when they send around a tweet with the bombs dropping on Party Poker, we just don't think it's funny. It's actually quite funny. Whereas some people might take offense, but I think those guys are all right. I've never played on their site, and but they're willing to try stuff. You know, I mean, people knock them, but at least they're willing to try stuff.
Yeah, I think the big issue I have with them and video series I made earlier is just the lack of security in the back end there, and letting bots and potential colluders and not fixing these exploits that are going on in their software that people are taking advantage of. I think that's the real big problem that myself and a lot of players out there have, and it kind of brings up the question about just combating those security issues from Party Poker's perspective in terms of how are you guys going to be able to detect and really fight against these bots that seem to be on many of the poker sites out there?
Well, I mean, this is a little bit of another PR thing that sites do and the industry does, that you can't stop this. You can stop this. And the things that Party Poker put in place in the background will eliminate these activities.
So there's an actual security team there. There are people behind the scenes checking for people that might be colluding or checking for people that might not be actual authentic accounts and people taking advantage of the system that way.
Yeah, but I would currently rate it 1 out of 10. It needs to get to 10 out of 10. So effectively, what they do now, and the way they detect, the way they track and find out what's going on, is operating below levels. But I do believe you can bridge the gap. So I do believe that you can. I do believe you can eliminate bots from online poker. Eliminate them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everyone's talking about controlling them. There's always some rocket scientist who knows more. It doesn't reconcile to me. Some of the online companies are billion-dollar companies. Yet they always say one student in his bedroom might be able to invent something that works on their site. Well, really, if you're a billion-dollar company, the student up in his bedroom picking his nose shouldn't be better than you at tech, should he?
Right.
So I do think that gap can be. I do think we can get bots, cheating, collusion, all these ghosted, multi-accounting out of online poker if a site's committed to it and actually willing to step back and do the job professionally.
Mm-hmm. What's been the idea behind this? You've been doing this cash game. I think you did it yesterday. So it's like you've been 100, 200. It seems like it's an invitational game. We got Isolder, the legend, in the mix in there. Loose Leon's in the mix sometimes. Sam Trickett's in there. Aussie Matt hops in once in a while. I think Gus even showed up one time, and then he was like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that again." But what's kind of the idea behind this invite game that you guys have been having?
Well, I mean, Sam likes to play, and so a bit like some of the top pros, they can't always get in the regular games. So Sam's doing what guys like Andrew Robe will do. You know, he's putting the legwork in. He arranges the game, tells us all when it is. If we need some money transferring, he transfers us the money. So he takes the hassle of playing. So all we have to do is click, log on, sit at the table. So he's making our lives easy for us to play. People like me, Leon, Matty, etc. But obviously he's a pro and he's got an edge in the game. That's in his benefit. So he's arranged them off his own back. It's not really any reason to do like a business reason. It's just arranging a game, and we're all friends and we all know each other. Simple as that, really.
Do you I feel like that event right there alone, because when I've live streamed it in the past, it's been very successful, a lot of views, people have really enjoyed watching that. Do you guys ever think about maybe turning that into some sort of actual weekly or bi-weekly potential event that then people can anticipate and then tune in to watch some of the players that they know and kind of enjoy that action right there?
Kind of hard to do that because the nature of the guys that are playing that game, and they've been playing a bit smaller recently, is that they might be out away on business, they might be hungover, they might be stuck in a live cash game, they might forget the time. It's very difficult.
Are you talking about what you've been in during when you play this, or are you talking about in general? I'm not, this is from your own experience.
Well, this is, for example, me. Sam messaged me yesterday, said, "Don't forget to sit in the game." I was feeding the baby at the time.
That's the baby.
I got to play in the game. So I logged in on my iPad. I've got baby in one arm, iPad on the other. I hadn't slept for 48 hours. In the end, I went up to my bedroom with my iPad and I fell asleep halfway through a hand and woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're not reliable customers for Sam, are we? We're not reliable.
Sounds like a good game to me. I don't know. We got one guy half sleeping in the game. That sounds like a pretty great game to play in.
It's very difficult for him to arrange. Like sometimes people like Leon, they'll be away, switch their phone off. People like me will forget or be in a meeting. So the actual collection of high stakes players, he does well to get us at the same table at the same time. So I don't think making a regular feature every week would be possible. I just think it's as and when he can grab hold of us. Well, that's kind of the way that the players live. You know? I mean, I don't really want like to for me or my friends to sell our souls to a poker site, play a game, try and get people to sign up and all that rubbish. I think we just play whenever we play, you know, and sometimes we all coincide the same night and we have a game.
Yeah, I think any time in the future, if you guys run that game at Pot Limit Omaha, all you gotta do is just let me know, man. I'm more than happy to stream the event. I love watching the great game. I like watching Loose Leon in the mid. Leon's got his own way of playing Pot Limit Omaha, Rob. I don't know. You played a lot with Leon, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Do you want to play the next game?
Do I want to play the next game? I mean, I think I could. I guess maybe. I don't. I live in Las Vegas, though. I'm not trying to break terms of service right now to get into the next game.
Yeah, true. Like, better not mention that.
But no, I definitely think. I don't know. I got a question. I got a bunch of questions here sent in. I guess this will be a good time to kind of go to some of the questions here. What and where is the next big game? This question comes from Leon. He wants to know, when's the next big game going to take place? I'm not sure if this means a live big game, like maybe potentially down in the Bahamas, or if this is some sort of online. When's the next big game? The man wants to play.
What is that? What that my Leon asking that?
Yes, that's really, yeah.
Well, he's coming over to my casino in end of September, so we'll have a big game in here. So that'll be the next game.
Will there be a big game down in the Bahamas in November that might be televised, similar to the very, very high stakes game we saw in Montreal?
Well, there'll be a private game because JRB, Andrew Roble, Bobby Baldwin, and the guys are coming down. So the Harry Cash game will be there. I normally play in that because they're good friends of mine. That's pretty high. I think it's normally 500, 1,000 blinds. It's Holden though, and then Leon and pretty much everyone's going to the Bahamas. So I guess there'll be a PLO game as well. If Nick wants to stream a game, I never mind jumping in. But some of the guys like to have wine and relax and don't want to be on the stream. But yeah, I think there'll be SOPE as well. There's always big games at King's Casino. So they're probably the next 3 times that I'll play. But you know, it's kind of hard to arrange these big games because it just depends when people meet. I mean, this year I've played in Macau, Kings, Sochi, Vegas. It's pretty much half the players are the same guys, you know.
Just traveling around different places, and then different players replace the other action players or other pros kind of hop in there.
Maybe like the only time I played against people who I don't know, and even that is in Macau, and I still knew like Winford and Paul Poir and Richard Young, but I don't know them as well as the European guys. So it's like this: you've got the Russians, you've got the Chinese, you've got the Europeans, you've got the Americans, and there's maybe 50 of us, and that's if we coincide in the same place, there'll be a game, and that's kind of how it works. I know people try and arrange things, but really, most of these people who are playing these games, they've got businesses, they've got commitments. They can't be like committing to things too a month before. But I think there'll be a big game at Dusk Till Dawn at Millions. There'll be a big game at WSOPE, and there'll be a big game, probably a couple of big games, a few big games at the Caribbean. So yeah, I need to be careful.
Yeah,
but the game in Montreal, I actually watched I watched your commentary actually, and I thought it was good commentary. I just want to explain one thing to you. You know when I was getting pissed off at the table and saying I don't deal with money. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember there was something like, just get it out of here, whatever.
Who's this guy? I think he is on your commentary. Well, the history behind that was that the first night everyone lost their deposits. So we had a few games and I'd won all the money. So I turned up the next day and the guy said, "Can we borrow some money?" And I said, "Yeah, fine, but I've got a 10 million guarantee here, so I might not be able to play. I've got a 10 million guarantee at tournament, which I'm sweating. But just do what you want, but please administrate it yourselves, and we'll sort it all out after the trip." So I had like 3 million on my account, something like that, and there's plenty there. Just obviously, poor Aussie Matt lost quite a big chunk of it. But I said, guys, just you deal with it yourselves because I've got stress here with this tournament. And then during the game, everyone kept saying, "Can I borrow 200? Can I borrow 200? Borrow 200?" So the reason I got irritated was because I just said they can have whatever they want, but don't keep asking me every single hand. I mean, at one point, everyone was loading every hand, weren't they? 200, 200. It's ridiculous. And also, I don't know why they want to load for like 200 and go all in all the time. We're here to play poker, not to just go all in every time. So that was why I was a bit arrogant at the table there. I wouldn't normally want to be like that. Because it was a conversation before. I wasn't like being a big baller, like I don't deal with money because it's below me. I was just pissed off with them lot.
Okay, good. Actually, I think we kind of thought that. We're like, maybe he just doesn't deal with money. I don't know. Maybe he's at a point in his life right now. He just like, I can't be fucking bothered with this. Get this out of my face, sort of. So, but no, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Asking me to play. That game was never supposed to be that size. Everyone wired like half a billion each, and we were supposed to be having a friendly game for the stream. Like, I think the blind's supposed to be 100, 200. We all have a few drinks together. Aussie, Matt, and Leon, they wanted to see each other to catch up about things. Everyone's all friends. We're all good times. But about fifth hand, the blinds are up to like 500, 1,000, 1,000, 2K. That wasn't what we agreed to. So the fact that they've made the game so big and they're all doing their bollocks and like all borrowing money, taking money off my account, doing this transaction, writing this. I mean, actually, to be honest with you, I ended up losing in that game with all the chips flying around. I think I ended up 280,000 down because I had to settle the game afterwards. So there was 280,000 that we couldn't account for. So I paid that. So I settled with everybody, and I took the 300,000 loss on the game. I mean, that's how crazy it was because there's money just flying everywhere, wasn't there? So
didn't you win money in the game? I thought, because I know you won the big $1 million pot against Leon when you had the Queen Jack 10 and he flopped that straight.
yeah, I think I won like 2.2 million, but I only collected like 1.9 because there was 300 grand missing from the accounting somewhere. So
is that something that happens often? Because I can imagine that thing. I mean, I don't know. It seems like that thing could happen often. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a lot to misplace, but
I mean, we don't know who lost it. Someone obviously lost more than someone. I mean, it couldn't be me because I never lost. So I sat down with what I sat down with. Well, effectively between us, Wolf, Leon, Matt, Sam, whatever. I think Sam's figures were right. They end up 300 grand go missing in the game, and I took the hit on that. But at the same time, you know, it was just like chaos, wasn't it? It was never meant to be. It was supposed to be 7 or 8 friends playing a nice, sociable, friendly game, no craziness, and it just got out of hand.
Yeah, have you ever seen somebody run as bad as Aussie Matt ran during that broadcast?
Oh, I mean, I felt sorry for him. I mean, I felt sorry for him that was on the stream as well. And when I saw the heads up with him and Leon, I just didn't like it at all. I mean, the actual truth of the matter is, when it got a bit crazy, I went to the stream people and said, "This is getting out of hand. I'd rather just stop the stream and we don't continue playing because this is not we." And there was 24,000 people watching the damn stream, so I couldn't switch the stream off. I mean, that's the truth. I didn't really. I just thought that, you know, at least we could all spend 3 days together without trying to kill each other in $1 million pots, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it just got a little bit crazy, and Aussie Matt ran terrible, but then but Matt's had times where he's run great, so you know.
Yeah, kind of.
It did run pretty bad, but the thing about Matty is, Matty might moan at the table when he's losing, but then 1 second later he can crack the funniest joke ever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's just like good. I love to play with him because he's good fun. He can look like he's willing to hang himself while in a pot, but then 1 second later, just smile and come out with some sort of gem, like he wasn't even bothered. So, I mean, the first time I met Matty was when he came to Dusk Till Dawn, and we played heads up for like 36 hours, Omaha, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He was a bit younger then, and he's just a character. So yeah, I mean, these are all interesting characters, aren't they?
There's a lot of interesting characters in the high stakes poker world for sure. A lot of these guys are under the radar, or we don't know much about them, but there are certainly a lot of fun characters out there. Who are I'm curious, out of the Wolf or Crocodile who play at King's Casino, which one of those guys would you prefer having in the game, the Wolf or Crocodile?
Well, I prefer the Wolf because Crocodile doesn't actually know how to play. So, I mean, literally, Crocodile wouldn't know if he'd hit a flush or straight. And I don't really want to play. I mean, I think sometimes when Crocodile's in the game, I play him open. So I turn my 2 cards over, and he can see my 2 cards in a pot and make decisions. He doesn't know how to play. You know, can you play Scrabble? I can't play Scrabble. Crocodile can't play poker. So I'd prefer to play with the Wolf because the Wolf can play, but the Wolf can also be good fun. And then, I mean, did the Wolf eat? I think the Wolf ripped the cards up in Montreal, but normally he eats the cards, the Wolf.
So is it, do we want him to eat the cards? I don't know. As the casino operator, do you want him eating cards?
Well, I mean, I played with the Wolf before. The Wolf's a great character. If he gets a bad beat, sometimes he'll eat the cards. But he's the Wolf's fantastic. He's a gentleman. He's elegant. He's friend. He can speak French. He's like, oh, he sent me a amazing. I had had a baby. He sent like an amazing bouquet of flowers over. But at the table, he's the Wolf.
Mm.
He will eat the cards if he gets a bad beat. I mean,
if I come to the casino there, I can eat the cards if I get a bad beat. That's fine. We're good.
I don't know. I think the wolf gets preferential treatment. I think I think the wolf's coming to Dusk Till Dawn, and I think he can eat as many cards as he wants. He's
All right,
he's such a gentleman and so elegant, so funny. It's a pleasure to play with him.
Yeah, he seems, just from watching and by the way, the last PLO stream I watched for when Leon sent me a link for it, I thought the Crocodile played a little bit better than before. Before, he didn't know what the hell he was doing at PLO. I think that was the first time when we first saw him on stream, and he did like a big Russian cheer. I don't know what the cheer was. I can't remember what it was like. Close. I don't know. I can't even emulate it right now.
Noise like a crocodile, doesn't he? The crocodile doesn't make that noise, but he makes this. It's like a seal noise he makes, which is
it's some noise. I don't know what noise he's making. He's making some. He's like a chant or something like that. I don't know what he's doing. It's fun to watch. I just wish I understood it.
Well, I think, to be fair to Leon, if the Crocodile was in a big cash game at Kings, I think Leon gets his helicopter, flies to Kings, and tries to drag him out of the cash game. So, you know, he tries to protect him a little bit. But yeah, I've never seen the Crocodile know what 2 cards are, ever. Maybe you watched it. Maybe you watched something different, but I don't think he knows when he has a pair. So if he's got like 9-10, it comes to 9. I don't know whether he knows if that's a pair in poker. And really, not much fun play. I like hearing his sounds and his craziness at the table, but probably wouldn't want to win money off him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that. Let me look at some questions here. So obviously the big question a lot of people had to ask was about this Aussie Matt and Leon situation that you were involved with. You wrote up a blog about it, and kind of looking back on that, what's sort of your take on what's happened with the incident that happened in Vegas last year?
Well, I mean, to cut the long story short, when Leon drinks, he does have the habit, just like the Crocodile can make some noises. Leon can fall asleep at the table, and I don't mean fall asleep as in his eyes getting dreary. I mean, hold down the table. So I've played with Leon before. He doesn't drink a lot, but when he does drink, he does have an effect of him falling asleep at the table. And I played with him once, and he folded the nuts to me, and I said, "I'm not playing anymore." And so that incident, that kind of, some drink affects people in certain ways, and Leon obviously drank a lot. He lost him. They broke the game. Him and Matty then went back and played again. Leon, I think, said to Matty, "If you stop playing, I won't play you again." So Matty was under pressure. I think it was 3 million that was lost that night. And then the next day, Matty came to me. Matty's a complete gentleman. We were by the pool and said, "Oh, this happened last night. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, you've won the money. You've won the money." And Matty was like, "Well, you know, feel a bit bad, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, why don't you just make some sort of friendship deal? But, you know, you should take the lion's share." Leon came storming into the pool and said, "I'll pay the whole lot. Don't worry about it." And I think Leon had 4 or 5 million on deposit at the time, so could have paid him. And Matty and Leon came to an agreement where I think Matty was Leon paid him 2.5 million, and they paid 500 heads up, because I think the last 500 or 1 million, I don't think Leon was awake, and they just flipped for it or something. So they made an agreement at the pool. They shook hands. Everyone was just having a good time. Tony G was there. We were all there. Everything was cool. And then, unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Someone told Matty not to take that deal. If you lose, you lose. And then so Matty had told Leon, "Actually, no, after agreeing to it, I'm not going to agree to it." And then it all kicked off. You know, egos got involved, blah, blah, blah. I think Matty ordered a lawyer down to the Rio in front of everybody when WSOP are Leon's partners. So kind of embarrassed him there. And, I mean, I just think they both went on tilt. And the funny thing is they're actually a match made in heaven. They played against each other. Matty never met Leon before. I turned up. Leon messaged me in Vegas and said, "Meet you downstairs for a cup of coffee." I met him downstairs. He wasn't there. He was playing heads up in Bobby's room against Matty for 200,000, and they never met each other before. So there's like an attraction between them. Never met each other before, and they play heads up for 200,000. There's no intention to play it. So I think the whole chemistry there, and then he's suing this person, that person's suing that person, and I think in the end they probably, between them, they did a lot of money on legal costs. And then they arranged to meet in Montreal, and I think they end up just Leon settled up. they chopped up some of the legal costs together, and everyone was happy, and they shook hands. So, fine.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about, I guess, the public perception in that situation, where the public perception sees the case as one way? They see it as Leon decided to gamble. He drank. He lost more money than he maybe intended to. Then so the perception is that he wouldn't pay him. Worked out a deal, and that was the only way Matt could get money. But then after that, you have these guys playing on stream together on the Party Poker streams. You have them playing on the Montreal as well too. So it seems like if there was that big of an issue, if it was that big of a deal, then they wouldn't be together. But a lot of the public out there does think it is a pretty big deal. So what are your kind of thoughts on that?
I think it's a big deal when they're suing each other in court. I think that's a big deal. I think Matt was angry. I think Leon maybe there was a little patronising to Matt. And Matt was angry about that, and Matt wanted to kind of show Leon he can't get pushed around, and then Leon contraed that, and but I think they both realised it was a bit silly at the end of the day, and they settled up between them, and I think they both ended up losing money because of all and the lawyers were the ones that made some money. I mean, who I guess the public perception is that, you know, there's a lot of people who read things on blogs and 2+2 and things like that, but they don't know all the facts. But the bottom line is no matter how drunk I am, I'm going to pay. Leon was willing to pay the whole lot instantly. Matty agreed to accept the money, but he could give him a 500,000 heads up as a little drink, as a little token of gesture, because Matty knew that Leon was drunk, but Matty was also drunk. They agreed that, shook hands, everything's cool, and then Matty comes back and says, well, actually, that's not the deal, and that's what riled Leon, and it was all about egos after that for me.
Yeah.
So it was never the case that Leon wasn't not willing to pay in full. Leon was willing to pay in full. But when you get two balls in a shop, sometimes the crockery gets broken, and I mean, I wouldn't say it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. You know, I think that Matty certainly has caused, you know, with what he did with all the PRs, got a massive negative on Leon. It's definitely cost Leon a lot of money. But I think also that Leon was a bit older than Matty and maybe spoke to him in a patronising way, and I don't think Matty stands for that. So, you know, I think I can see both sides really, but I mean, it's all set. They all settled it all up now, and they didn't make a big deal of it. They didn't come out and say, "Oh, all this bad press about us, we've settled now, goes away." They just did it privately and classy, you know, between themselves.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've been playing in some of these high stakes games in different countries and somebody doesn't pay and or someone wanted to make a deal or someone lost a lot of money and they said, hey, I'll give you this, and that's what you take? Have you ever had something like that happen with you?
Yeah. It's normal. It's if someone loses a big sum of money, it's and they're a part of the community and part of in the game. It's normal they might get some sort of deal, yeah. Loses like 2 million, and they say, "Can I pay like 4 months, 500K a month?" Normally, something like that, yeah. So there's always one casualty in every big game. There's always one poor guy that runs bad, ends up in a bad situation, and then, you know, it can be a bit late paying, but normally everyone's pretty cool about that, you know. I think it's part of poker. A guy can have $1 billion in assets and have $1 in his pocket, you know. That's the nature of this business.
Yeah. Just imagine if you're going to Russia and you're going to China, you're going to Macau, you're going to who knows where you're going to sometimes to play, that you probably run into games where there's characters that we never imagined or exist in these high stakes poker world, where, you know, who knows what they're involved with. But I just imagine some of these guys say, I'm not going to pay. And what do you do when they say, I'm not fucking paying? You, like, what are you supposed to say to these guys? I don't know.
It never works like that. There's a guarantor in every game.
There's a what?
The guarantor in each game. So every game, every game that we play in, one person guarantees the pot. So effectively, it's that person's problem to collect the money. So we never sit in a game. There's it's a credit game where you owe each player. So let's say it's me and you and 3 or 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
You win 200, I lose 100. I don't owe you 100. The organizer of the game is the guarantor. So let's say if you win 2 million in a game, the organizer of the game pays you 2 million whether he collects or not.
Okay.
That's how it works in every game. I've never known a game where there's not a guarantor in that I've played in. So, and normally the guarantor is somebody who's everyone trusts, otherwise the game doesn't happen.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility for the guarantor and a lot of pressure on the guarantor, because then, I mean, you need to get paid. And I guess you think about what's the risk of that, like, why would that person put the game on? I would imagine they're playing in the game as well, too. And
the guarantor could do it for 3 reasons. The guarantor could do it, he's playing in the game, so he thinks he's plus EV on not collecting versus playing in the game. Guarantor could do it because he's get kicked back on the casino business. So let's say they bring 7 or 8 high rollers to a casino. The casino players, they lose money on casino and he gets a percentage. So that's against his risk of guarantoring the game. Or the house could guarantor the game because they want those sort of customers in the building. So let's say you invite 20 high stakes players and they're gonna on average lose $1 million on that trip. Just pick the number out of my hand. So say 10 people, between them, their expected value is to lose $1 million. The casino probably willing to give you 50% of that, 500k. So you can afford to go bad debt for 500k and break even. That's how it works. I've never played in a game where there's not one guarantor.
That's interesting. Okay, I don't think a lot of people knew that, because I know a lot of in America how it is. I mean, these aren't the ultra high stakes games, but these are pretty high stakes games. Getting paid in these games is a pretty big deal, and maybe that's just this certain private games here that run in Los Angeles or that run in Vegas. But
I don't play in any of those games. I've been invited to those games. I don't play in any private games where it's not in a casino. I don't play outside of a casino ever. I only play inside casinos where there's camera checks and things like that. And people are playing for credit, but there's a guarantor, and obviously the guarantor is good for it, so you're okay.
Okay, so you don't really play in any of the backroom games that might go down in Moscow, or I don't know where exactly they go down at, but you don't participate in those games?
No, I've been invited to them, but and I used to play in them the big 5 or 6 years ago, but it was not easy to get paid, so I decided that I couldn't win. When I lost, I paid, and then when I won in these kind of games, I didn't get paid, so it kind of was not really a good idea. So I decided that, and also I played in a couple of games where I was cheated. So I decided that I was going to play in games in casinos only. And also, I also played in a couple of games where I was uncomfortable. So like you're playing in a hotel room with friends, friend loses a lot of money, there's no, and then says, "Can I borrow some?" And you just get involved. It's better to play in some sort of professional environment. I remember I played one house game that went on for 3 days. And no one slept, and literally people losing their house and stuff in it, and it just wasn't a comfortable situation,
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable with a dealer in a casino, but with their own tour. So,
I mean, when you stay awake for 3 days to play, are you drinking water? Are you on ad, or is it just like, how do you guys stay awake for 3 days? What kind of that seems pretty extreme right there.
Well, the thing about poker is you can stay awake if you love the game, and you can have a shower, come back. I mean, I remember I think Gus Hansen was up for 3 days at King's playing Chinese poker with a few guys, and he was fresh as a daisy and did the commentary for Millions Germany. I mean, I can probably do like 48 hours. I'm a bit older now. It's just like, I don't know what it is about poker. It keeps you awake, It's a bit when you bet on sports. If you've got to bet on a sports game, you don't often fall asleep. You might fall asleep if you've not got a bet on. Something it does to you within your adrenaline. I mean, the worst thing is obviously staying awake when you're losing. It's depressing. Yeah. If you're winning and staying awake, you kind of get that sensation, don't you? I guess when I'm winning and I'm awake for a long time, I get to enjoy that feeling of winning more. When I'm losing, I'm just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's banking a good win in sports betting or poker, you feel good for 24 hours. It's like it's a good feeling. It's not necessarily what you can do with that money, just the fact that you're up, you're ahead, and I mean, you had that feeling yourself, yeah. How do you feel when you're in a cash game and you're up double your starting stack compared to if you're just dribbling away? What's the
Yeah,
feeling?
I definitely I can relate to that feeling of when I'm stuck and I'm playing, because I played super long sessions all the time online and sometimes live poker. When I'm stuck and I'm tired, I'm still awake though. But when I'm winning and I'm tired, I fall asleep a little bit more, I've noticed. So, but if I'm losing, I'm like, man, I'm not I'm not a big fan of quitting. I've had some very big losing buy-in sessions in my history of online poker because I didn't like to give up when I was down. I don't know. I just didn't like quitting when I'm
You got
down.
that like
So
hormone feeling when you're up in a game. So say you started with 10k and you've got 60k in front of you. It's like a hormone inside you that just feels nice. Just feels nice that your chips were bigger than when you first came to the table, and that feeling keeps us awake. I think. You know, I think. I mean, it's like, funnily enough, when I played the online game. I bought in. I got my stack up to 125k last night, and I didn't fall asleep. And as soon as I went back down to 45k, I fell asleep. So it's almost like winning hormone. Have you ever put a sports bet on where you bet on goals and you're free rolling on the rest of your bets?
I don't sports bet that often. I'm pretty sure you're a very seasoned sports bettor yourself, but I have tried to stay away from gambling outside of poker
It's
most of
that
my
feeling,
life.
that feeling where you can't lose. So let's say you bet on overs on 2 goals, and 1 goal goes in, but you've also bet on the favourite, so you can't lose. It's just that feeling in gambling of being ahead. You know, it's a bit like when you play a poker tournament, when you've got big chips and you're going to day two, you just sleep and feel good that night. You know,
Yeah.
rather than being a short stack, wondering who's on your left and who's on your right. Well, gambling's life. I mean, Mike Sexton wrote the book, didn't he? Life's a gamble, and it's so true. You know, people don't realize it. Everything they do in life is just a matrix of different types of gambling. Every decision you make. You know, I'm gambling talking to you now. I might say something really bad, say something. You might ask me a question. I might say something, and then it gets taken out of context, and my reputation's dirt. You know, everything's a gamble, isn't it? You know?
That's true. Are you worried about that happening? I don't think you've done well so far.
No, I haven't got anything to hide, so I'm kind of okay.
Yeah. Let's find some more of these questions here. Stefan Sontheimer, my man on Twitter, says, is he playing the $25,000 plus stuff in the Bahamas in November?
This is Stefan. Well, all these pros.
They want you in there, Rob. You gonna join them in the waters or what?
I'm not going to play the 25k millions world because effectively I probably would never do well. But if I did do well, I would kind of feel that we've got qualifiers in that tournament, and you know I wouldn't want to bust a guy who's qualified for the 25k. So I wouldn't play that one. But I'm going to play the Federal Hopes Invitational. I think it's 42 players, $250,000 buy-in. So
The Fedor Holes Invitational? Are you serious right now?
Yeah,
That's the name, the Fedor Holes Invitational. What?
yeah. Well, I asked Fedor to do a project and but do something interesting, and he came up with a $250,000 buy-in, freeze out, 42 runners, 16 players. I'm going to play that one, and it's not a long one either. I think it's only like a 2-day event, so that's okay. So I'm going to play that and really try and concentrate. I like the fact it's a freeze out as well. The fact that you haven't got people just firing bullets in. So I like that.
So is this event going to be on a live stream, or is this something that's going to be off stream?
Well, it's going to be at Bahamas. 42 of us will play. I don't know whether they're going to stream it or not. I mean, maybe. But I think Rachel's got like 27 deposits already. So I think we'll get the 42 players.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, it sounds fun.
It's a nice buy-in because effectively you're not, there's a limit to how much you can spend. So you buy in for your money and there's no re-entries or buy-in day 2 or anything like that. So you just know where you're at. So you know you're in before you start playing, you know you're in the hole for 250. it can't get out of hand, you know. So I kind of like that. 'Cause I think some of these games where 200-300k buy-ins, I heard about like Federal had 7 buy-ins in Macau for like the 300k area super high roller. That's a little bit extreme. So you know, unlimited ventures at 300k when there's people starving in Africa. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, what's kind of your take on the re-entry? Because it seems like a lot of the live events and the online events like ACR, they have very long re-entries there. A lot of these live events now are all re-entries and people re-enter a bunch. What's kind of your take and your opinion on re-entry versus freeze outs?
Well, if it was up to me, everything would be freeze out. Obviously, you can hear the way that I come. So if the problem is with freeze out is people travel around the world. And what re-entry does, it allows someone to play effectively 2 tournaments for the same amount of expenses. So if someone buys in twice, the expenses are 1k, they're over for 10k, their overall costs 10.5k instead of being 6k. So I understand why the pros like the re-entry format, because for one set of expenses, they can effectively play more than 1 tournament if they re-enter. But if it was up to me, I would have complete freeze out. But the customers, you have to give the customers what they want, and I'm actually against this philosophy of you have to protect the qualifiers. You hear people say it should be a freeze out. It's not fair on the qualifiers. Well, the qualifiers probably qualified for $10 or $100. I think we need to take into account what the guys who are ponying up their own money want as well. So I don't actually understand that in my head where people say entries aren't fair because they're not fair on the qualifiers. Well, hold on a minute. The qualifiers probably put $55 into this tournament. The poor pros put 10k in. We have to listen to the pro. And if the pros want to have re-entry, I think we have to consider that. I don't think we can get rid of it. But personally, for me, would be all freeze out if I could choose.
Yeah, that was actually a question I had from Justin Hammer on Twitter, who is works at the Commerce Casino. He said, you have these great events in amazing locations, but with the format of multiple reentry, your online qualifiers are getting slaughtered. What efforts are you making to even the playing field so that the recreational players and online qualifiers have a chance?
Yeah, it's kind of like these people don't understand the maths. You know, it's first of all, let's just say what re-entry is. Re-entry is just a player busting out and buying back in. That's as simple as that. It doesn't decrease the chance of the chance of the qualifier. Doesn't make any difference. Effectively, often the guy who's re-entering is buying in with a shorter stack, so he's passing on EV to the qualifier. So you know, and my second point, just going back to what I said before, is there needs to be balance. We need to do what's good for the qualifiers. So the qualifier, say he gets into a 5k event, the satellite's probably overlaid 20%, so he's getting a discount. The guy who's traveling all the way on his own money, not a free hotel, not free flights, he wants to bab 2 bullets for his 1 set of expenses. There has to be a balance. So when I think there's a lot of uneducation. I mean, do you know how re-entry was invented?
No, I don't.
Yeah, re-entry was invented when Simon Trumper played at Caesars. There was a promotion. If anyone that busts out with aces all in pre-flop gets a free ticket into the next day. This guy didn't really understand it. Got his free ticket, bust with his aces, got the free ticket, and went back and played the same tournament again. And sat next to Simon, and Simon said, "I just knocked you out." The guy didn't speak English, and then Simon came back to me and said, "Can you believe this? The Caesars are useless. How can they allow this to happen?" I knocked a guy out, and they let him back in the tournament. And I said to myself, "What's wrong with that? It's just a new entrant. It's just like late registration." So we tried the first re-entry tournament at Dusk Till Dawn. Everybody got absolutely slaughtered for it, and then it just spiraled. That's actually people like you get these tournament directors. They say, "Oh, I invented re-entry." No. Re-entry was invented by the accidental situation happening in Caesars. There's no brainchild behind it. You know, is re-entry good for poker? Well, it allows the bigger prize pools. Personally, I would want them. I would vote for freeze out on all Party Poker Live tournaments, but I don't think we'd get the direct buy-in players traveling with the high expenses if they couldn't have another go at the tournament. If you did like a survey, I would vote for freeze out. So I think it's the thing about Party Poker Live, we just do whatever the customers want. So, like, if the customers, say all the customers that qualified and played for a 5K tournament in millions for the last year, and they all voted, next year, please do it freeze out, we'd do it freeze out. We just do it's very simple. There's no opinions in Party Poker Live. We just do what the players want. So if the players want shot clock like this, want collectively, what's very important is that the players that have a say are the players that have played and support the events, not just all the trolls on all over the place that don't do it. It's very easy model. Just do what the players want. I think actually there's a Dimitri Irovich has just sent he's doing a petition for mixed games on Party Poker in Sochi to try and get Party Poker to program the mixed games in on the site. And Tom sent me an image. He'll get that through. I guarantee he's done a survey in Sochi, he's done a petition in Sochi to get the mixed games on Party Poker in different types. He sent it to Tom with about 1,000 names on it, and there'll be mixed games on Party Poker.
Nice. Okay.
And there'll be a mixed game series in April on Party Poker, which will mean that the software has to be programmed, otherwise they can't run the series. Very simple model. Just do what your customers want, and at the end of the day, hopefully there's a little bowl of rice at the end of it in profit. It's not a difficult model. So when people talk like that and make comments about you're slaughtering your qualifiers, does this guy have the stats, the number of qualifiers in millions of events versus how they progressed versus the amount of people that re-entered? Does he have the stats? So many people in poker have got so many opinions. You know, you asked about Aussie Matt and Leon and all the bad press. People have, poker's full of experts, armchair experts. You know, in reality, if everyone's got the data, they could actually see, what the truth was.
Isn't this PokerStars thing too? They said the same thing about the Rake thing though. They said that more Rake is better, and we have the data to show you, and these kind of things like that. I think they talked about things like that before.
I think sometimes you say something and put your foot in your mouth, and then you try and defend yourself. I think that's what happened there. I mean, I don't think any idiot is going to say more Rake is better for the customer. I think someone said it out of context and then got themselves hung out to dry and had to keep defending it. You know, it's a bit like when you get caught doing something. You know you probably shouldn't have done it, but you keep defending yourself. I think they should have just put their hands up and gone, actually, that was a stupid comment, and everyone would have gone, yeah, fine. And it would have been forgot about. But unfortunately, now you're going to get people like Doug Paul putting big posters up there saying more Rake is better, and they're going to get the piss taken out of them for the rest of their operating life, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe. Unfortunately, I guess, yeah.
The good thing about poker is, if you say to the customers, like, Jesus, made a mistake, sorry, they're very forgiving, you know.
Right.
Like I've made mistakes at Dusk Till Dawn before. Like put on a bad tournament, charged too much high rake, put the tournament on the wrong day, made a mistake with the scheduling, didn't clear the car park full of snow so no one could park. And everyone's so angry and so angry. And if you just say, I'm sorry, they go, okay then. And that's the beauty about the poker community is they're very forgiving. I actually think if PokerStars came out now and said, we're sorry for screwing the all our winning players, we're sorry for taking away Supernova, we're sorry for getting rid of the EPT, we're sorry for doing this, we're sorry for doing that, we're going to run the company like ISI did, because that was good for poker and good for all of us, me and all of us would go, great, we're back with PokerStars fans again. Certainly I would. I thought PokerStars was like an amazing company.
Right, me too.
I don't think company people do that, do they? People in suits don't come out and say, I got it wrong. Whereas 400 wrong. There's no shame in being wrong. One of the things I hate about the corporate world, they never admit they're wrong. Everyone makes mistakes, you know.
100% agree. Yeah, I'm surprised that Stars. I mean, I'm gonna have actually, hopefully, it's still gonna happen. Eric Holreiser will have him on the podcast, and he's one of the executives of our PokerStars. So this is definitely something I'll be talking to him about. But yeah, I agree. I think if they came out and said, yeah, we fucked up here, we shouldn't have done this, we shouldn't have done this. But I don't know if they plan to go back to how Isai ran the company. I think it seems like they're much more focused on leveraging the poker customers and turning them into sports bettors and casino bettors, and then building their game, designing their game structure that they make a lot more money and that players just aren't winning any money from cash games or just winning a lot less money. And it seems like with their tournaments, they're trying to still have those where players can still actually win a lot of money in those games, but they are designing new game formats that we'll see if they work or not. But yeah,
PokerStars employees care about the players 1,000%. They do. Do Amaya PLC care about poker players? 1,000% no. So the employees, I believe, especially the ones that were there when this site were there, they really care. They're really passionate. But do Amaya PLC shareholders care about a poker player? Of course they don't.
No, no, definitely not. Why would they?
Well, they would care if poker players stood up and said, "We're not going to take this anymore. We're going to leave the site." You know, but we can't even do it between us. You know, we tried the strike. We all won't play on PokerStars today, and then our friends knew we weren't playing, so they all went on because they thought the fields would be softer. We, as a poker community, are not powerful enough to say you can't do this because we're selfish. We're selfish, you know, and it's fragmented. It would be so easy to get PokerStars to listen. Just don't play on the site. Everyone just doesn't play on the site for a week, and then you would get it all your own way, and we'd get it all our own way. But we can't organize ourselves well enough because we're selfish. We can be a selfish breed as poker players. And I guess with the whole party poker thing, party poker are trying to do what PokerStars used to be, and it's difficult because poker players are selfish. So it's difficult to be that nice, giving, customer-focused business and get the players. I mean, I think party poker is like 40% up. I think PokerStars are still like 5% up, aren't they, year on year? Tom sent me the stats. So people are still playing there. I mean, they put all the rake up for the small tournaments. They just keep charging, and they're still safe to stay the same size, yeah. And as a business, they're going to keep on doing that until the players stand up to them. So in reality, we can't blame them on PokerStars, can we? They're just maximising profit, which is the objective of any PLC. I used to really like PokerStars. It was a brilliant company. When I was running it, when Duffy was in charge of EPT, it was a pleasure. We used to look forward to PokerStars tournaments here every year. But in business, in my previous life in business, I've seen many times when a private company gets taken over by a PLC, the objective of the PLC is to maximise profits for their shareholders. So we can't all sit here and go, "Oh, we're surprised that we're getting screwed now," because they're just doing their job, you know.
What's your relationship like with the people at PokerStars now? Is it a competitive thing, or is it something where you guys don't communicate at all, or what's that like?
I don't know anyone there anymore because, like, everyone kind of left, you know. So I don't really know hardly anyone there. I can't think of anyone's name off the top of my head that I know there. Is Roy Jones still there? He's a nice guy, the PR guy. I wouldn't know who was in charge there anymore. I think Rafi's the CEO. Some guy called Rafi. I mean, does he play poker? I don't know.
He has a history before Amaya. He came in under the last regime, I believe, and I can't remember.
Is he poker or something?
Is he what?
888 or iPoker or something.
One of those companies. Yeah, I've done a lot of research for a video I was going to do before about him, but it's been a little bit of time since I remember his specifics about.
I don't know any of the directors there. I never met them. I think was a wonderful company, and it's a shame what's happened. But they're still the best by miles in the industry, and I think it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Poker players always feel we're owed. We're owed this, we're owed that.
We want to win. We feel like we're owed the chance, I think, to win at the game and to make some money at the game and not just lose all our money. I think that's what poker players feel like they're entitled to, and it makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but then businesses are entitled to make money, yeah?
That's true. That's true.
Shareholders are investing their money in Amaya, and they're entitled to get the dividend. Isn't it the same? Well, because we're poker players, we deserve more.
No, it's true.
I don't think they'll ever. Well, I don't think they'll ever change now. I think this is what it'll be, and I think unless one of the other operators can rise to the occasion and the players show that operators some loyalty, I don't think it will change for poker. and I don't know whether that's ever going to happen. I mean, there was a 1% chance I give it that Party Poker could probably return to prominence, but the more I see, the more I believe it's not possible.
Why is that? Why is that? Why didn't think so?
Because players don't care enough. They're happy to moan, but ultimately, look at W Coop. I don't think PokerStars probably overlay anything on W Coop. Powerfest 60 million, W Coop's 80 million. Party Poker will probably overlay 5 million on their festival. What PokerStars probably won't make a penny. So we'll make money. I mean, people just support PokerStars, whatever they do. It's a bit like a woman who gets beaten every night. She still goes back to the same guy. People seem to do that with PokerStars. I kind of thought, I guess, a couple of years ago, which interested me in this project. What about if you could have a poker site that was for the poker community and looked after us all, was willing to accept a lower profit? So turn over a lot of money, accept a low profit to keep the game going and doing the right thing.
Right.
But the more I see every month that goes by with me working with Party Poker, I just doubt whether the poker community cares enough, you know?
Well, I doubt that all the time, Rob. Don't worry. I don't think a lot. I think a lot of people in poker, and it makes sense. They care about making money at poker, and they don't care about these other things because, as we've mentioned, very selfish game. Selfish people in the industry, because that's sort of how you become successful at poker. Is you be selfish, and that's how you win. You take advantage of people. And...
for me, I remember many times in my life. I mean, you know, my mum was washing pots. My dad used to cycle to work. We had no money. No matter what anyone offered me, I'd always want to hold my head high, you know. And I think if more was in the poker community, kind of held our head high, didn't take any shit, put our money where our mouths were, we wouldn't get trampled on. Live casinos wouldn't put. Let's, for example, you take some of these countries where they're charging like $300 rake on a live cash game. If the customer didn't go in, the casino would have to drop the rake, wouldn't they? But the customers still go in and moan. And that's what's happening with PokerStars. The customers are still going to PokerStars and moaning. Now, moaning doesn't cost PokerStars any money. So, like, the only way that you can actually make change is to not give people who you don't like your business.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I drive up the road, and I have a choice every morning when I drive to the door. I've got the corner shop where I can buy my cigarettes, and opposite is a big supermarket. And I've been buying my cigarettes from this guy for 15 years. Well, the supermarket, they're cheaper. But I always go to the guy on the corner shop, and I buy my cigarettes from him, and I don't care if they're 3 times more expensive. I just want to do the right thing and support him.
3 times more expensive?
If they were, they're like far more expensive or something. But the point of the matter is that if I only had £11 for a packet of cigarettes, I would still spend the £11 with him rather than buy £9 in the big supermarket chain across the road. Because I just think it's the right thing to do is to support each other. And I think one of the issues with poker is we support each other so many ways. We lend each other money, we stake each other, we coach each other. We buy each other beers, we go out for meals together, we stay at each other's houses, we do all these things together. Yet we give our business to this company that wants to fuck us at any possible situation. And we're not strong enough to do something about it. You know, and the more I see it, the whole Party Poker thing, the more I see it, I don't believe it's possible to ever start. The players let themselves just fritter away. But it was kind of a dream, you know. I thought have this work with this poker site that's for the customer, no withdrawal fees, do all these things, you know, no deposit fees, give free tickets to people, etc., etc. Help let people qualify for 1 cent for big events, add value, get rid of all the nasty bots and things on the site, and do all the right things that we know we should be doing. The players will come and support. Party Poker is only 40% up year on year. That's not big for the things that Party Poker have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Party Poker have got millions online in November, 20 million guaranteed. 5,000 buy-in. They're going to give away 500, effectively free seats for that.
This is an online event?
It's online, yeah, online.
Okay.
The biggest ever online tournament in the world is 12.2 million, ever in the history of poker. Party Poker are doing 20 million for 5K, nearly double the biggest 5K buy-in ever done online in the history of poker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only 40% up year on year. I mean, the things that Party Poker are doing, it deserves to be 100% up. And
well, do you think a lot of this comes down to marketing though? Because getting that word out there and letting the old customers who may have left, or customers who have become accustomed to playing on PokerStars, or customers just quit poker, kind of getting those people back on the site?
I don't, because I think it's about where you play poker. In poker, you sit in your house, often with your laptop, and no one can see what you're doing. Party Poker Live in 1 year just blows away PS Live in 1 year. Just sets it up. John Duffy, everyone trusts him. All the staff around the world, from Playground, Kings, Soshi, everyone good people. Set this live tour up together, collaboration, boom. I think it's like 200 million in guarantees this year, like double the size of PokerStars in 1 year. Are players loyal to Party Poker Live? Absolutely. 100%. People got problems with money, Rachel, Nicola, whatever, will sort them out. People want a hotel booking, need some help, need to lift home. Party Poker Live, absolutely, in 1 year, is the biggest live operator in the world. And so much so that it's partnered, and it's got no ego, it's partnered with WSOP, it's partnered with WPT. It's like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Players do support that live. But I think when a player gets home in his bedroom and he's got a choice, I'll switch on PokerStars, I can pay $5 for a 50,000 guarantee, or I can support Party Poker's $5 tournament for 10,000 guarantee. And if I support it, Party Poker will get to 50,000 for $5. I think when no one's watching, everyone just flicks into PokerStars and plays the bigger tournament. Yeah. But Party Poker Live's not being behaved like that. Party Poker Live, people just have said, we're not going EPT, we're not going PokerStars Championship, we're going to come and hang with you guys. But it's visible. But I think online, when the choice comes, you've got a choice. You play this on Party Poker, which is smaller at the moment, but would go as big as PokerStars if you supported it, or you just play the instant tournament on PokerStars, which is bigger now. Players choose to go onto Stars, and I think that's been really disappointing for me, because if the players supported Party Poker, it could grow and look after the players.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, it was always a 1% chance anyway, from my point of view, that you could pull it off. But
you seem pretty upset about this, Rob. I'll be honest. You seem kind of hurt by this, actually, the way you speak about it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I was hurt, but I would say that I'm disappointed. Yeah, I'm disappointed that because I've been on both sides. I would have never partnered with Party Poker in a billion years if PokerStars was owned by SI and looked after the players. The only reason that we partnered with Party Poker was because PokerStars turned into this high rake is good for the players stuff.
Yeah.
So Party Poker really cares passionately about its customers, more than PokerStars. But when push comes to shove, the guy sits in his bedroom on his computer or wherever, he's still logging. Party Poker should be 100%.
What about those old school commercials for Party Poker where they had them very fun? What about a commercial where a guy goes to his bedroom and he's about to open his poker laptop and then he goes to Party Poker and plays on Party Poker? What about some things like that? Kind of get the everyday Joe, get that average consumer, that guy that chooses PokerStars. Well, why don't you let's figure out how to advertise to that person or market to that person or get that person to then switch over those tendencies.
I kind of don't. I mean, I'm talking to you like I would talk. I actually forget that I'm on a stream here. I'm talking to you like I'm talking to you if you were sitting in my casino opposite me. Yeah, so I don't want to. You shouldn't have to ask people, supporters. People should choose. It's very simple. You can look at all the USPs of Party Poker, particularly the software improvements recently. You can look at all the USPs of PokerStars and make the right choice. We shouldn't have to ask people. You have to persuade people, put adverts on, and sell your soul. It's so obvious who's got good intentions in this industry. let people choose. You know, let the poker. There's only two operators in this world, really, isn't there? Online, Stars and Party Poker. With respect to 888, let the players choose the destiny of online poker. Let them choose if it and see how it goes. Don't ask them. Let them make their own choice. And at the moment, I know there's a success story. Party Poker's grown. I think it's tripled in 2 years in size, and that's like, oh wow, Party Poker's going places. Well, the stuff that Party Poker has done, it should be 5-6 times bigger now. You know, but I would like, and again, I'm not speaking because we're on a stream here. I'd like Party Poker and Party Poker Live to grow because the players chose, not because they were sold to. You know?
Right.
Let the players work.
Sometimes they need to be sold to choose now. You know, like they.
Yeah, but then you got to sleep at night. You got to sleep at night the way you work.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess I have this idea in my life, and I've always had this in my life, you know, my business, in all business, and particularly this partnership with Party Poker. But in all business, I've had this idea that don't shove it down the customer's throat. Just do a good job.
Right, and they'll come.
And they'll come. And in all my businesses, I mean, I started working for myself when I was 21. I got a 5,000 overdraft from the bank, and that's how I started. I managed to persuade the bank manager to lend me 5,000. I was never big on advertising, like never big on marketing. I was always just big on doing the right thing. And I always had this thing in my principle that if you do the right thing, the customer will come to you. And that's kind of seen me through to 46 now, just doing it that way. Never like, if you have to tell people how good you are, then there's something wrong in my opinion. You're not doing a good enough job, because if you're being great with your customer, he's going to tell people, you know, you're going to get a good reputation. You don't need to tell. Coming out and saying how good you are, it's almost like inadequacy, you know. Have you ever sat with somebody and they just talk about themselves, about how well their business is going, how many cars they've got? They're normally skint, you know. And I just think it's good. Probably won't work, but it's always worked for me that just do the job and always do the right thing, and good stuff happens, you know. So it's a different way of doing it, really. I mean, I'm an independent person who gets choices to do things, to do business the way that I want to do it, and that's how I choose to do it. So coming out and selling, I mean, maybe we should employ ACR for marketing.
I mean, listen, I don't know. I say they're not good at some things, but I always give them credit for their marketing. Their stuff's good. Yeah. I mean,
maybe they could just good advertising.
Try things. I got a lot of respect for people that just try some things out there and do some weird shit. They got that cage event where they have a live cage. They play in the office down there or something like that. So yeah, they do at least try some things, and their marketing does seem pretty solid.
I suppose we should give ACR like a skin, decent software, etc. ACR in charge of the marketing. They can do all the tweets, Party Poker versus Poker Stars, and do it. But on a serious note, I think doing things the right way with your head held high, not shoving it down the customer's throats, and let the customer choose where they want poker to go. If people choose to support Party Poker, certainly when I'm a partner of them, and I have an agreement with them until the end of 2021 at least. If people do actually choose to get in their bedroom and like have a choice who they want to give their business to and help build their liquidity, spoke to liquidity-based game, you know, Party Poker would always look after the customer. I guarantee that in my life. But it's kind of hard to, you can't really, and it also sounds cheap as well. So hopefully people see, hopefully eventually the penny's going to click and people might find it like extraordinary. Party Poker's tripled in size in 3 years. That I'm kind of moaning. But you know, the dream was to have this online poker site that looked after the community and big turnover, less profit, did the right things and put on great events. And you know, dream's probably going a bit southwards at the moment.
Well, it seems like you guys are on a good direction with the new software and a lot of the, just the improved customer service, the ambassadors that you guys have for the site who seem pretty active on social media. So it seems like, and with the live events as well too, kind of continuing to get bigger and bigger. It seems like the things are on the upswing right now overall on the entire front.
Yeah, I think things are doing okay, but I think that poker's about liquidity. You can't do $20 million tournaments and let people and enable people to believe they've got a chance of winning the dream without liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
So the liquidity needs to grow more. But on the Party Poker Live side, I mean, goodness gracious, well, we just did a WSOP with our partners. We don't. We just did a WSOP event in Canada, in Montreal. Got like 2,600.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Well, I think it's the world record for a WSOP circuit event in playground. That's fantastic for poker. Yeah, that's good. I mean, like,
yeah, it is.
On the live side, we seem to get so much support because I guess they have to face us if they don't turn up. Where were you? I've got the millions in my casino here, and the funny thing, I better turn up because Rob will notice. It's a little bit more personal, isn't it? Whereas I think the online, it's easier not to support.
Yeah,
I think that's challenging.
I think I have an idea for you said the Fader Holes Invitational down in the Bahamas. It might need to be Joey's Pot Limit Omaha Invitational. I don't know, man. Maybe something needs to be Pot Limit Omaha going on down there. Now that I'm thinking more about this invitational.
Are you going to come to the Bahamas?
I have talked. Rachel has invited me down to the Bahamas down there, and maybe if there might be some potential commentary, if there's any sort of a PLO game stream or something like that. There's some high stakes things. So yeah, I've been I'll be down there. I'll be in the Bahamas.
What sort of PLO do you play? 4-card, 5-card, 6-card, or?
I play the great game of 4-card Pot Limit Omaha, Rob.
You prefer 6-handed?
Good question. I mean, I've never played 6-handed live before except short-handed when it kind of breaks down. But yeah, I prefer 6 or 7-handed. Yeah.
7. What stakes do you play?
Well, to play stakes on my own or play stakes and sell action, I could probably play most higher stakes. I just have to sell a lot of action for them.
So why don't you play in our next game?
Where's the next game at?
We'll just get Sam to save your seat. We can play an online game, or why don't you play the next game on? I mean, that Sam arranges.
Might have to.
We'll make sure we'll make sure you send. We'll give you an invite. We'll give you an invite. I think they're playing 1-200 at the moment, 20,000 money. So it's not like terribly brutal.
Yeah, I mean those a lot of those things. If anything I want to play, if I don't want to play on my own, I just sell action pretty easily to people. So people are always willing to gamble, and usually I do pretty good at PLO. So you never know.
Are you a winning player then?
I am a winning player. I've been playing since 2007 online. Yeah.
Wow, cool. We're definitely going to invite you then. Because we've heard you commentating on how bad we are. So I think we.
Oh my gosh! So wait, when did I say how bad? When did I say how bad you were? Did I say you were bad?
I've seen a couple of the commentaries. Questionable there.
Listen, I'm sure you played the hands a little questionable. What do you want me to say? You play a hand questionable. I'm going to say you played the hand questionable. I'm not going to be like, that five guys are fucking great. That's a great play, right? I'm going to say that's a questionable play. Because if I say it's a great play, that people get mad at me. They're like, "What are you? Poppy's a fucking idiot." So it's like, it's you.
Listen, let's just get you in a game, and and just out of interest, I think I don't think it's. I mean, I saw one video you did with Phil Galfon when Phil was analysing my hand. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
PLO hand we played, and Phil's like, "Oh, it's a call here on the turn," and like. Etc. I'm just thinking, Phil, Leon could be doing that with a nut flush, in which case I've got like top pair and blockers on the flush. I don't agree with Phil's analysis there. But I mean, we all love Phil Galfon, so he can say what he wants.
That's true.
But yeah, I think definitely we formally invite you into the next game.
Okay.
And we'll just see how. Yeah, tight.
See what I got, huh? You want to see what I got, kid? Okay, that's fine. That sounds like I like that challenge. That sounds fun to me.
Certainly in the Bahamas as well. I think you commentate on how we're playing. I think Bahamas is live. I think you should chip into one of the live games. So I'll make sure Rachel extends the invite for the Bahamas.
Okay, yeah, I like your enthusiasm here. I like how fired up you're getting right now.
I like to play against these people that are commentating on these hands, saying how bad.
You're mad. Oh my, no, you don't like my commentary. No, what's wrong with my commentary? I call the action like I see it.
Correct. So let's see how good you are.
Okay, deal.
Deal. You're on. 100%.
Deal. That sounds good. I mean, listen, I can understand where you're coming from though. If I was listening to people commentate and stuff, I'd probably feel a little angered or fired up sometimes too if they said some things.
I'd like to play. I've never played against Doug before.
Doug Polk, you want to play against Doug Polk too?
I'd like to play against Doug, yeah. He's always commentating this hand, that hand. How does he play this way? I'd like to play against you guys. Me, you, and Doug.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think Doug plays PLO, and I don't play Texas Hold'em. I only play 4 cards.
We'll play Doug at no limit. I just like to see how he plays. I mean, he does a lot of analysing of hands and things like that. You know, I think he could be fun.
Yeah, I think he would. He'd probably have fun too if you guys got a chance to play each other. I don't know.
I'll play him.
I like your competitive spirit, Rob. I like this. You got the fire behind you, man. It kind of comes out when you're on stream too. This attitude, I mean, it kind of comes out. It seems like the attitude you need to have.
It reminds me of this honest truth. I forgot that I'm on stream. So, my head's not going in the picture there like that. But I mean, you like poker. You're passionate about it. I can talk about poker. I sit and talk to people about poker all the time. So you know, I like playing, and you know, it's a passion of mine. So.
What I actually want to go to some of these questions here because I had a bunch.
Rattle all the questions. I answer them.
Okay. With what casino has he had the best experience with live poker?
Aria.
Okay. That question's from Leon. So Leon maybe was hoping for the King's Casino, but
Aria because playing in Bobby's room.
Ivy's room.
Sorry, Ivy's room. The food's fantastic, and you can get your hotel really quickly, and just a really comfortable place and good fun to play. So if I had to have like a week in poker, where you can go and sunbathe, have a drink at the bar, play a game, I'd probably choose the Aria. It's kind of got everything, hasn't it? And also it's got Starbucks next to it. And it's got the crystal shops.
Right.
It's just a good place if you want to do other things, you know.
Did you know there's a Starbucks in the Aria? Because I assume you're referring to the Starbucks in Crystals.
Yeah, there's a Starbucks in Crystals. There's also one upstairs near the swimming pool.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, both. It's just got everything in terms of facilities wise, and you can also obviously. I'm going to take my Indy, my new daughter, and Alex, my girlfriend. We're going to have a week there as soon as we feel the baby can do it. Because it's just in the center, you can just do stuff there. So yeah, I would probably choose the Aria.
Yeah, I love the Aria. I love the location, the ambiance there, the poker, the mall right there. I love the Crystals too. I like going through there. Are you a big shopper? You go buy a lot of things at the Crystals? Are you a Louis Vuitton kind of guy or Tom Ford kind of guy?
I only drink coffee at Starbucks, and I only buy my clothes from Prada. So everything I wear is just from one shop, and everything I drink is from one shop. Just dead simple. Yeah, true. Everything's just simple. So when I go to Vegas, go to the shop, and always the same white T-shirt or black T-shirt. Just something simple.
You're like Steve Jobs, the Steve Jobs of the casino industry, with your outfit, the white shirt,
or American Psycho. Have you seen that film where the guy has all the 10 things? Literally in my house, I've got 10 shoes all the same, 10 shirts, everything's just the same.
So just your American Psycho merged together. Okay, I can see this. You're like the English Psycho.
Yeah, it's like some people go like buy a pair of trainers, they really like them, and they'll buy like 3 pairs of trainers, different ones. Whereas I like training, buy 3 pairs, and it will last me like 3 years for the same pair. So kind of just a bit like that. But yeah, shopping at the Aria, perfect.
What is this question here? What's the biggest pot this guy's been in? Monster TV show. What's the biggest pot you played, Rob?
Most pukish pot ever in my life. I was playing in Russia. I had Queen's top set and nut flush draw, and There was 3.3 million in the middle on the turn. No, sorry, there's 1.6 million in the middle on the turn. So I bet the whole pot on the turn with nut flush draw and top set. The guy had like 1.7 million behind him. So he called the 1.6 and left the 100. I'm like, oh my God. He's got the complete wrap and flush draw. But the other flush draw, he's got the backdoor flush draw. Obviously, the backdoor flush draw comes. So he bets 100K into 3.3 million.
Wow.
What do I do?
I don't know. What's the I mean I'm gonna call and I'm gonna lose, but yeah.
I folded.
Folded.
Yeah, I folded out to fold 100K, 3.7 million or something.
Did he show you the flush?
Yeah, had the nut. Yeah, he had 4-5 nut flush draw. So he had the straight draw on the flop, and he picked up the nut flush draw on the turn. So he had to be straight flush nut flush draw, and that's why obviously he's got 5 high at this point. So he's called 1.6 million on the turn. We left himself 100 behind in case he misses. So yeah, I had to pass for 100K to that pot. Like that's the biggest. That's the biggest pot I've ever played.
How's it feel to lose a $3 million pot? For those at home that have never experienced it before.
I was just thinking, like, the first thing I did was count my odds. I've got top set, so he's got 6 outs. Why does it have to come runner flush draw when I've got, why do these things happen? So I'm just thinking to my head, what are the odds of this happening and me getting so badly screwed? But the worst thing was, he pushed the 100K in. I thought to myself, at least, you screwed me. Do you have to put the 100K in on the end to just really rub salt? Why can't you just take the 3.5 million in the middle and be happy? Well, the guy bet the 100K. And I'm like, that's what I threw on mine. First of all, just counting the outs and then just feeling sick and then kind of resenting him a little bit for betting the 100K.
Did you know who the guy was? Is this a guy you played with before?
I've never played him before.
No.
Never played. I know him now. He's a nice chap, but I've never played with him in my life. No. And like.
So a random guy in Russia, you played a $3 million pot with? That seems crazy, man. It's awesome.
I was the random guy in Russia. He was the player. So I was the random guy.
Wow.
And like pass for 100K was like, oh.
What would you do if he showed you a bluff if you folded?
It's like just ruin my life for a month. I don't know. What can he have? I've got top set, no flush draw. What's he gonna call like?
He could have the worst flush draw that you have with a wrap, and if the wrap missed.
Yeah, I guess, but he'd been like the tightest player at the table,
Yeah, so he probably wouldn't bluff that hand if he had that.
But once I know he's kept 100K back, I know he's got the monster draw.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I've got the monster top set, I've got the frigging club draw, so I already know he's got diamonds and 5-6, so he's got the straight and the no flush draw. So I know his hand. He can show me his hand, and I wouldn't even look at it because the only hand he can call that much with.
Yeah.
That particular hand, yeah. He has to have nut flush draw and up and down as a minimum. So it doesn't matter. I know his hand. So when the damn diamond comes on the end, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Now, I can't start thinking he's got the same flush draw as me because I've got 2 clubs in my hand. So I have to eliminate, to a certain extent, that situation,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the biggest part, and that's the sickest I've ever felt. And the worst thing about that situation in that game was before that pot, Nick had messaged me and said, "Can I see you for a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, come up now. I'm winning in the game. Be a good excuse to leave." Nick, meanwhile, stops off and buys a cup of coffee. He's 10 minutes late. By the time he arrives, I've lost his money in his pot. I mean, what's going on? So the pot shouldn't have even been played if Nick had turned up at the correct time. We've been playing for, I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And Nick wanted to catch up about something. So if Nick's going to stop off for a cup of coffee, and Nick's the guy who built Dusk Till Dawn, this hand never happens. So yeah, I'm sorry to moan on about the answer to that question, but yeah, that's the pot.
Listen, you lose a $3 million pot, you're allowed to moan on a little bit about it. So it
Well,
sounds like, was this a fresh wound? It sounds like this is relatively fresh.
2 years ago.
Years ago, yeah, still on your mind, still boiling up over there about this. I can
I don't know
tell.
why these things happen. Why people want to turn up? What's the odds on Nick, who's never late? He's never late.
Has he been late since? Did he stop off for a coffee since then?
He's never. Me and Nick were born on the same street together. Went to nursery together. So we're both 46 years old. He's never been late in 46 years, except for that one pot. Seriously. And you know what he said? He said, fancy losing that money. I'm like, the hand wasn't supposed to happen if you turn up on time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd already told everybody I'm leaving, going for a meeting, and then these things happen. But what do you do?
Yeah. Charbroiled says, how much poker studying does Rob work on? Does he have any coaches? And then Sasha said, how did Rob learn to play the great game? Which kind of go together. How'd you learn to play the great game on Pot Limit Omaha?
I never had any coaching in my life, but I've got a lot of friends that are obviously good at poker. We talk hands together and things like that. So I've never watched a coaching video in my life. But I don't play in like tough games. I'm playing the games that I'm playing in are kind of people like me who haven't had coaching. So it's okay, there might be a couple of pros in there, but generally I'm not playing against like tough opponents. Maybe if I play online, I'm playing against tough opponents, but generally I'm not sitting in games where I've got 5 pros around me.
Right? Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think I'm as terrible player as you make out in your commentary.
Why did I make you out to be a bad player in the comment? I haven't even seen the many hands you play. I think you play well.
I think I'm better. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm better than you at PLO. I haven't heard your commentary. That's the honest truth.
That can't be true. That can't be true. There's no way that's true.
Let's play that.
How can that be true?
I would say I'm a better PLO player than you based on your commentary. And that's just a mathematical decision, that I'm putting into battle.
Damn. Okay. Maybe. Well, I mean, I don't know. The only way we find out, we got to put some hands in here, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like being arrogant or anything like that. But yeah, I would say that, I'd probably stake myself rather than stake you.
How much? You must be up a lot of money at poker.
I guess, yeah, I'm over since I've been playing. Yeah, I'm profit, but I've had some losers and some winners, and I think I've been very lucky in some of the. Poker's a funny game. You could be the best player in the world, play 1-2, and then you step up and you play 5-10, losing the 5-10, but you've won all year in the 1-2, and you're a losing player. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I don't know how you measure it really, but I like to try and play. What I like to try and do now is always play at similar stakes so that it's kind of balanced in terms of the swings.
Right.
But saying that, I think there's a game at Dusk Till Dawn tonight, which is like a $5-10 game. I think I'm going to play that for a couple of hours. So I'll probably run like God in that, and then. But I mean, I just like playing. It's just like Paul Newey's the same. Paul Newey will turn up and play a £50 tournament at the casino, and he'll enjoy it as much as a 5,000 buy-in. We just like to play.
Yeah. How did you learn to play Pot Limit Omaha? Did you just start? Was it one day you got introduced and then that was it, or what?
I started playing Dealer's Choice, which was like Pineapple, Super Stud, and Omaha was one of the games on the Dealer's Choice thing, and I liked it. And then as Dealer's Choice was kind of a game in the UK that a lot of the older people used to play, and eventually they started to die over the last like 10 years. So all that's left now was Omaha players who were the younger people. And that's how I started kind of playing Omaha with those guys.
And now is it your favorite game to play?
Yeah, I'd say Omaha's my favorite. If someone like sent me an email and said, "Do you want if someone said, "Yeah, PLO is my favorite game," but I'm better at Texas, I think.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Like PLO, I can't. The nut flush comes to the flop. I'm probably never folding it, whereas sometimes it's correct to fold it. So I'd say I was better at Texas, and I'd probably say I was like in between like a businessman and a pro. So like I'm probably better than most people who don't play much because I've played so many hands. I've played a lot of hands online, but my thinking's nowhere near like the pros thing.
Right.
Probably just sometimes just gamble, you know.
Maybe we need to do some commentary videos together, Rob.
Yeah, I enjoy commentary. I've done some commentary bits and bobs like over the last 10 years. I enjoy it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, maybe when we're around each other, we should maybe record some Pot Limit Omaha videos together. Because I mean, maybe we just do a fucking video where we just talk PLO with each other, because that could be kind of fun too as well. I don't know if you want to give away the, like, I'm not sure if that's what you want to. I don't know if you want to give away any sort of things to people that might play with or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's.
I don't care about that. This the whole thing about like people knowing how they play and small edges and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a recreational player. No one's going to learn much off me. Sometimes I call, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I raise, sometimes I don't. I mean, how are they going to work? How are they going to work it out? I mean, it can depend on like if I'm replying to an email on my phone, then I fold ace king. You know, there's no massive strategy to it.
If your baby poops in your arms like maybe last night, you fold double suited aces pre-flop.
Well, I actually made a Mistake last night. Alex was talking to me about the baby, and she showed and if I've got like I think I had 2 pair, and I was going to call with 2 pair, 25,000 on the end, and Alex distracted me and asked me to look at this picture of something. I've looked at it, and Poker timed me out, and it folded me, and I just said to her, you just lost 50,000 there on distracting me when I'm playing. So we had a bit of a fallout about that. So yeah, it's very rare that I'm sitting and playing and not doing something else. So it's kind of pretty difficult to win when you're doing something else at the same time.
Another question: if you were able to put together the most action lineup for a high stakes game, who is in your ideal table?
That's an interesting question because it depends on people's moods. Like for example, say I would have Aussie Matt at the table, but if Aussie Matt is winning, he's a much tougher opponent. I mean, but yeah, listen, we got to have Leon. He's action. But Leon is the most action.
Do you think Leon's better than me at PLO?
I tell you, when Leon gets ahead, he's a different opponent. If Leon gets €1 behind, then he can explode. Now we need to play with you and see what you like. I certainly think Leon would want to play with you as well. So you've got to have Leon at the table for action. You've got to have Matt Kirk at the table for action, and you've got to have JRB at the table. I know JRB mainly plays Hold'em, but
well, I've played some PLO online with him in the past year, and he should probably be at the PLO table. Yeah.
Just the thing about JRB, the reason to play with JRB is when you give him a bad beat, he will talk about it all night. So literally, he'll moan about it, and then an hour later, he'll be talking to himself, and you can't help laughing. So you've got to have JRB at the table for entertainment value. And I also think you've got to have this guy who plays in Macau. What's his name? I can't quite remember his name, but effectively No Limit. Well, if you're playing like 501,000 No Limit, it would just raise 15,000 pre-flop. Just like bizarre player, and like there'll be like 50,000 in the pot. He would just bet 50. It's bizarre, and then like I can't remember what his name is, but probably him.
Okay.
I'm trying. You've got to have Anton in Russia. He's the nicest gentleman, but literally he will just create action. He'll never fold pre-flop, doesn't matter what you do. Anton in Russia's great as an action player. I'm trying to think in Europe who the action players are.
Are there any certain professionals that you might want in the game, or any like Isildur or someone like that? Gus Hansen, maybe.
Well, Gus is. I've played with Gus PLO, and he's like. I know people say, "Oh, he's lost this online and whatever." I don't know what happened, but I mean, he just plays the maths. You know, you play against Gus live. He's just playing the maths and playing the maths. Victor is a strange one. I mean, Victor's quite tight when you play him live. and when he's playing a ring game, and I've never played Victor heads up, so I'm not sure. But I like to play with Victor because he's good company. I probably wouldn't choose him in terms of being at an action table. I mean, Leon's kind of. I mean, the Wolf gives action. Generally, the crowd that are playing are the guys that give the action. There's a guy in Canada who's I can't remember his name, but he's. Well, I think if you want to create action, I think Leon has a way of creating action because he 3-bets a lot pre, makes the pots bigger. So yeah, he's probably the most action player in the world, I would think. In the world,
the action player in the world.
Can you think of one more?
I mean, he seems like a lot of action. I've seen some guys at the casino play a lot of hands, but Leon doesn't fold. He plays sometimes he just 3-bets every hand. There's some sessions online where I see him 3-bet every hand.
Every hand, yeah. But I mean, can you think of a player that's more action than Leon?
I don't think so.
Well,
he's named Loose Leon for a reason. It's not because he's not action.
He's most action in the world, I think. In terms of like building pots, betting, bluffing. Yeah, I think. I mean, I remember the hand with Suntimer, Stefan. I mean, it was my fault. We were playing in Kings, and the last hand of the night, and Leon started with 20,000 and played brilliant poker all night. Got up to 240,000. Stefan's playing at the table, and I'm winding Stefan up and blah blah blah. And Leon raises. It's the last hand, and Stefan 3-bets him with Ace King. And I said, Leon's about to fold. And I said to Leon, "Come on, you can't let him do that for you. You're in the casino." So Leon just says, "I'm all in with 7-6 off suit." Expected Stefan to fold. Stefan calls him with Ace King. The flop comes. He's got 7-6. The flop comes 8-5. So Leon's basically any 7, any 6, any 4, any 9. He misses. And even though it's not a huge pot for Leon, the fact that he played for like 7 or 8 hours, meticulous poker, and does it on the last hand, probably my fault for making that flippant comment. I didn't expect him to go all in. He's like devastated. And, and that's because Leon loves the game. And yeah, he's probably the most action player. I guess people would say that I'm one of the most action players as well. Although I don't think I'm as good as action as Leon, but there is some times where I just decide I haven't got the price, but I'm still going to put it in.
Mm-hmm.
I know I haven't got the price, but I don't want to fold this hand. I have this saying in my head. I've played this at 9-10 suited. What have I played it for? To hit a 9 or a 10? No, I've played it to hit an up and down, or played it to hit a flush draw. I need to play the hand out to conclusion to see what happens for karma, even if I haven't got the price right. So it's kind of perfect for pros, really.
Sometimes you got to see what happens for sure. I mean, yeah.
Why play the hand in the first place if you're not going to see it through?
No gamble, no future. It sounds like you believe in that motto.
Yeah, and you never hugely like in bad shape, and if you're always going to fold, don't play the hand in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So if I hit my draw and I played a drawy hand, then I think I need to put my money in. Otherwise, I shouldn't have played the hand in the first place, whatever the odds. It's probably mathematically completely incorrect.
All right, I have a good question here. How many human fingers does Rob have scattered across his living room and/or home?
How many what human?
How many human fingers does he have scattered in jars across his living room or home?
Human fingers?
Yeah, he's trying to say that you would chop off someone's fingers potentially for cheating or getting out of line or something. That I think it's what he's trying to insinuate.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know. I'm not. No holds barred. They gave me all the questions I wanted. So
okay, I just tell the truth. I have none.
Okay. Has he ever? Wait, what? Maybe at home or at the casino? You said.
Bizarre question.
Listen, I don't know. The internet, weird place. Has Rob ever played in a game he felt was too big or swapped / had someone take a piece?
Can you ask that again? A bit of.
Its question is: has Rob ever played in a game he felt was too big or high stakes, or swapped / had somebody take a piece of him?
Never.
Never. Okay. That question's asked. That question's asked. Juan says, question for Rob Young. Is discipline very important for you when it comes to pre-flop?
No.
Okay.
Pre-flop, pre-flop, you're in the pot. Your opponent's got a hit to proceed with his hand. So I think you can play a lot of hands pre-flop, and you're betting against him hitting. So I like to play a lot of hands pre-flop. Then you get action with your bigger. When you get a lot of action when you've got a big hand. So really, I'm happy to I know it sounds a bit crazy, but sometimes if I know my opponent isn't going to proceed unless he's got a strong hand on the flop or on the turn on the river, I might just call with nothing and try and basically I'm just placing a bet against him missing. Sometimes it goes badly wrong, but it's quite hard for people to hit the nuts. Sometimes people will pass big hands as well if you put a lot of pressure on them, especially when you see. So a big part of how I play is just trying to make people fold really. But obviously you pick your customer when that happens and be careful when the customer adjusts. But I mean, I don't think I'm good for giving poker advice, to be honest with you. I'm not. I wouldn't want to.
Actually, I mean, I think that's not bad because especially if you're against tighter players and you're deeper stacked, a lot of those guys do fold to a lot of pressure. So if you know like you said, know your player, know your customer, and you know which players aren't going to be making big hero calls on you on later streets, then you can, especially at PLO, you can get away with playing a lot of hands. It's just you get yourself into a lot of trouble with very marginal hands on later streets and big pots if you play a lot of hands pre-flop, which I think probably happens with a lot of people who don't like to fold.
Yeah, I like to play a lot of hands pre-flop, and it's free money when I'm making people pass the best hand, and then sometimes I'll have the best hand. So kind of I mean, listen, I have an unconventional style of playing. It's done okay for me. I'm in profit. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm in profit from playing poker, even though I'm not a professional. And it's worked for me. But I think probably I wouldn't be in profit if I didn't give so much action. So it's the reason that I'm probably in profit is because people are happy to have me at the table to create the action. So I have to almost play that style. If you know what I mean, if I played correctly and mathematically, I probably wouldn't be able to get in the games that I get into.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the games you play in, you have to be action. So you've learned how to play a style that is a lot of action because that's the way you get in these games and get to keep playing in the games.
Yeah, but sometimes I can get burned, but overall I'm in profit.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure it'll lead to some high variance where you have big upswings, but also big downswings. But ultimately, if you're up more than you're down,
Yeah, but one of the things that I'll be honest with you, I was a losing cash game player for the first 4 or 5 years I started playing poker. It all changed in one night. I was sitting down with 20,000. I lost the 19,000 pot, and I had 1,000 behind. And the old me would have just flicked that 1,000 in disgust to the next hand all in. But instead, I tapped the table and I said, "Good game, guys. I'm going home. I don't know why I did it. I took the 1,000 and put it behind the cash desk on my deposit account, and since then, I started winning. That discipline. Wow. So now, if I'm playing badly, and I'm losing, I just treat it like it's not one session. And since I did that one night, took the 19,000 loss, put the one little chip on my deposit, I kind of did it to teach myself a lesson rather than keep on playing because I played badly. Since then, I kind of learned discipline, and I've been like a million down in a game before where the game's good, but I've been tired and I've been not playing well, and I tapped the table and said, "Guys, I'll see you tomorrow." And everyone looks at me like, "How can you leave when he's stuck?" But I left. But ever since that night when I left when I was stuck for a relatively small amount in the States, I learned discipline, and I think that stopped me ever having a big losing night. I'm trying to think what the most I've ever lost. Most I've ever lost in one night is $1 million. Yeah. It's the biggest loss, and I got up and stopped playing, even though the game was good. I've never had a losing session of more than $1 million. You know, and I think that kind of changed my outlook on, and I felt good about being able to control, not keep on, not worrying about losing one night.
Right. You're looking at it as a long-term thing rather than I need to get unstuck tonight. Otherwise, it's like a failure.
I think the reason well, I can't remember the game, but there was some guy in the club that my casino that I didn't really like, and it was something that I lost the pot to. So I didn't want to give him the satisfaction because you couldn't. We played the rule where you couldn't buy in again, you couldn't reload. So you sat down with 20,000. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't reload. So I didn't want to give the satisfaction of putting that 1,000 in the pot and disrespecting it and letting that guy win it. So I just took the 1,000 chip and put it on deposit. And since then, cash for me, somehow, cash games became a long term. There's no such thing as a session. There's no such thing as a day. I mean, for example, I went to Montenegro. Quite interesting. I went to Montenegro to meet Andrew Roble and the guys and Paul Poit, and it was quite a disaster for me actually. They all saying couldn't play, but I had to talk some business with Paul Poit and Richard Young, and they're quite difficult guys to get hold of. And effectively, when you're the guest, they say, I need a chat. You can't say no. So I sit with the game. I played for 1 hour. I lost 600,000 in the first hour. I got to Montenegro, and Paul and Richard said, "Rob, have you got time for a chat?" Now these are gentlemen, so I left the table, left my stack at the table. It's like 400,000 at the table. Had a chat with Richard and the guys, and then said, "Rob, will you come to karaoke with us?" I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm stuck 600 in this game. I'm their guest, and nice people. So I ended up having to go to karaoke. I went to the karaoke with them. Game's gone. That's it. So I went to Montenegro, played for 1 hour, lost 600k. Never got to play another hand, and that was it. Andrew Roble thought it was hilarious. It's like, you know, and I guess that discipline of, I played for 1 hour. I wasn't really stuck, was I? Because tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another game. The next week's another game. The next year's another game.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like I needed to get back to the game. In fact, the next night, Andrew messaged me, Robert messaged said, "Are you playing?" And I said, "No, I'm going out for a meal." And we went out for a business meal. I didn't play again for 3 more days in Montenegro, even though I was stuck 600k after 1 hour play. Never touched another poker card because I had meetings and this to do. And that discipline all comes from that 1,000 chip. Wow. I mean, I don't think many people can do that. Sit down for 1 hour, lose 600k, stop playing, end up doing the karaoke, and instead of going back to try and chase your money, spend 2 or 3 days doing work, planning this, doing that, and just not getting around to playing, and then just sending the 600,000 up without playing another hand. That trip, and I was in Montenegro for 4 days. I went to Cyprus after that. And that discipline's good, I think. I think that's a good strength of mine, that discipline.
Yeah, that sounds like a great quality that you have. If anyone in the chat has lost 600,000 in 1 day and then been able to resist playing to get your money back in the chat, please press 1. I'd like to know if we have anyone else out there, or if it's just Rob. I think you might actually be the only one in the chat today. Although if Leon's in the chat, maybe Leon's may happen to Leon before too. But he did. I think you might be watching. He did ask for the link, so shout out to Leon if he's out there. And you got any shout outs you want to give, Rob? We like to give shout. You got a shout out? You want to shout someone out?
I'm not sure whether Alex, my girlfriend, or fiance actually, and my new baby Indiana's around, but I doubt whether they listen to this. But just in case they are, and to all like my friends in poker who support Dusk Till Dawn and PartyPoker Live and PartyPoker, kind of thanks a lot for that.
I'll give a couple shout outs to the chat. We have I'll give Rachel a shout out. Rachel works for you. Rachel Hennigan. She was the one that helped set this up and make this happen on both sides. So she's definitely looks like she does some great work over there. And she's on the hustle pretty hard to get players together for everything like that. So big shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Sasha out there in the chat. Always patrolling hard. Who else we got? Gail Peroja, hi from France. What's up, Gail? What's happening, Gail? Josh Ruiz, Andrew L, Charlie Rimmer. What's up, Big Poppy? What's happening, man? Steve Martin, nice to have 600,000 to lose. That's probably true. That seems like it'd be a decent thing. freedom from maybe what's going on, man. What's up, guys? Appreciate all the comments and questions and everything out there today. And what's the plan for you? You said you got some games coming up at your place there. You have some other high stakes, some other place, and then you have you're going down to Bahamas for right. So what's the goal right now?
We've got millions at Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Which have some games there. Then we've got the WSOPE, which PartyPoker are sponsoring this year at Leon's Place at Kings. So there'll be some games there, and we need to make sure we qualify enough players for that tournament. Then I would, subject to baby, etc. I would love to go to Montreal for the WPT in Montreal, which 5 million 5K tournament this year, which PartyPoker was sponsored. And then obviously we go to the Bahamas, and kind of think like all my friends and everybody's going to be there helping out, looking after. So many people have said, you know, oh, how about looking after the baby and things like that. We're going to take the baby to the Bahamas.
Wow, okay.
And that's probably it for like the end of the year, and then another year's over, and just keep on trying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of work to be done at the moment. So like playing's like not high on the priority list, but I kind of played a little bit of PLO on my phone on the way back from Northampton today. I managed to stack. I think I stacked Ike twice on the 50-100 PLO game. That felt good. So I would say, yeah, I'm missing playing a little bit. Definitely missing seeing like so many good friends that we're able to play with. But I kind of wanted to like get some work done, but also spend like a month at home. It's my first baby, and try and help Alex as much as possible. So I guess I'm pretty things are pretty like I'm very lucky at the moment, really. So,
yeah, how do you sort of organize all those thoughts into your mind? Because I'm sure you have a lot of things and that you want to be working at, and also you want to spend time with your newborn child and your relationship. So how do you kind of organize the things mentally for yourself?
well, I keep doing lists, but they only last a day. But I wouldn't say I was organised at the moment. I mean, I haven't had a shave. Probably slept like 10 hours in the last like 4 days. So no, I mean, you say how am I getting organised? I don't think I am very organised at the moment. I need to find a better system. But it's difficult because there's a lot happening at the moment. You know, all different partners, PartyPoker a partner, Soshi, Playground, Kings, a lot of things happening. Got a lot of good people that work in the organisation. We all work together, and obviously, like got family as well. Yeah, it's not. I'll be honest, it's not easy, but at the same time, is when you've got obligations to people, you need to fulfil those as best you can, really. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was organised at the moment.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of what you run off how you operate is you sort of have these built-in habits and systems in place that you probably had for years that while you don't stay organized, you're just so accustomed to doing the things that you typically do, and you sort of know what has to get done with your companies and businesses that you can do it, and you have other people that support you and that help you and that work under you that also help out too and keep the things in order that you might kind of forget about or that aren't a priority for you.
A big like finance department looks after my companies. I've like most of the people that work with me, and I always say work with me, not work for me. They've been with me for 15, 20 years, you know. So since I was 20, I mean, Tony is MD working on our cryptocurrency business. He's been with me since we've been working together since we were 18. So most of the people that I work with, I've known for like 20 years. So we all kind of naturally know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And people know, like with me, I can be late and sometimes not so organized, but sometimes it will take me 10 minutes to get a point across instead of wasting their time for 2 hours. So I think when you're working in an organization or collaboration or family, whatever you want to call it, everyone knows each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's it's quite unique. So I'm quite lucky that even like my finance director, she's worked with me. I think she maybe 20 years, you know. So and she's only like maybe 44 or something. So most of the people that I work with have known me since either at school or college or my first job. And they kind of joined at some point during their lives.
So it sounds like they must enjoy working for you if all these people are still around you for this many years. I mean, people must really enjoy being around you or just working with you or working together with you.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because they don't work for me, because they work with me.
Right.
Maybe that's why they enjoy it. They feel like they own it, and they're part of it, and they're passionate, and I think it's important. It's important. I mean, I run my businesses in a different way. I run them by deliverables. Effectively, we don't have managers, directors, this crap. You get a job, please deliver it. So rather than having an organizational structure, I have a deliverable structure. Jobs, tasks need to be done, and the people bite those tasks off. So you don't have like a manager managing someone, a director managing someone. So it's kind of a different way of working. It's like agile way of working. Obviously, it has its downsides and upsides, but I think it's more enjoyable. Which is I don't. I mean, I always say that like probably someone will probably hand the notice in tomorrow. Probably like my most proudest thing about business is that no one that's ever worked directly for me has ever handed a notice into me. I've never had that situation. And at one point, I think I had like nearly 3,000 people work for me when I was younger. And no one's ever come in and said, "Thank you very much. Here's my letter, and I'm going to go and work for someone else." And I think like at some point, I'm getting a bit old now for working. When I stop, I hope that I can keep that record. So that's probably the most thing I'm proud of.
So what do you think that you do that makes it this environment? Like, how do you think you sort of put that out there, and then you give people this experience, and you sort of empower others around you? Like, what do you think it is about you that you do?
I think like just people just trust that we always do the right thing. And again, going back to what we were talking about with the partnership with Party Poker, just doing the right thing and being fair. People like working in that sort of environment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite simple. Do the right thing. Treat people the way you want to be treated to yourself, and something's going to drop out at the bottom, and you might make a few quid. There's not a lot of science in the way that I try and do things, but obviously, like I think people aspire to work within that sort of honest culture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of old fashioned with stuff, so like I think like just when you got a tough decision, I always say on something, I always say like what's the right thing to do. I never say what's the most profitable thing to do. And I think if you choose the right thing, it normally ends up being the most profitable thing for you down the line.
Interesting way to look at it. I think most people say what's the best thing to do, or I don't think they look at what is the right thing to do, because oftentimes the right thing, I mean, to a lot of people, the right thing's going to be a hard thing, or a unprofitable thing, or something that's going to make you lose whatever game you're playing. So people
Every
choose.
time, but every time you don't do the right thing, you're affecting your integrity going.
Uh-oh. I think Rob, I'm assuming his computer died actually, because he just timed out, or he just dropped out. So we'll see if we'll give him a second to see if we can come back in here. But let's give some more shout outs in the meantime while we're waiting here. That usually means how he dropped out, that the battery ran out of the computer. So Marco Nebesny, what's up, Marco? What's happening? Christopher McLoyne, what's up, Christopher? What's going on, man? Wait.
I think the laptop. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think the laptop. Laptop ran out of juice, so you're on the other one now. I don't know whether it works or not.
Yeah, it still sounds good.
Well, yeah, I was just saying that if you always do the right thing, I kind of think that it's like a steady path and an easy way to manage yourself, and people recognize that, especially customers, and you kind of do okay in the long term.
Do you think you've always done the right thing growing up, or do you feel like there's been moments in your life where you've made mistakes and maybe you didn't do the right thing, but that helped you realize that as you get older, that's something that you want to strive to do?
Well, at the moment, sometimes you can do the wrong thing that you think is the right thing. So by saying do the right thing, I think doing the right thing at the moment, I'm sure there's occasions where I've done the wrong thing at the right, well, I felt it was right, but just always going with that good feel. I mean, I have these 10 golden rules that I don't want to go into them, it takes too long, but I have these 10 golden rules that I believe in, and very simple ones, and try and stick by them really, and it's kind of okay.
What's one of the best those rules? What's something that someone's out there watching and they're saying, hey, what's one of the best rules to you?
One of the best business rules, one of the best, I think the most effective rule is never give up in something you believe in. A lot of, like, there's this saying, like, say you sink like £10,000 into an investment or into a project, and the project goes wrong, but you still believe in the project. A lot of people say, have you heard that saying? Do you have that saying in America? Don't throw good money after bad.
There's something like that, yeah.
That saying, yeah. So some people think, oh, I've just wasted 10,000 on that. I'm not going to spend another 10,000. As my philosophy is, the 10,000 you spend, it's irrelevant. It's gone. If it's still a good idea and you still believe in it, you should continue. So, like, if I spent like 99% of my net worth on a project, I'd still spend the other 1% if I thought it was the right project. And I call that, I think it's point number 10. Never give up on an idea you believe is good. Whereas I think other concept is don't throw more money after bad. And that's never really got me into trouble, really. You know, I've got a lot of different projects in my life, and I can't think of a single project, even my football team, because that was the best thing, one of the best things I ever did when I had a football team. I can't think of many times it's not come right in the end. You know, if you think it's a good idea and you believe in it, don't worry about the money you spent on it. If it's still a good idea, it's plus EV to spend it. Yeah, you get me?
Do you still have the football team?
No, I fell out with the FA. I sold it for £1.
Pound? £1?
Yeah, $1.27 or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, happens.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I've had many like different projects that I've done, and like I'm probably like when I look back and probably like really lucky that I've been involved in all these different things, you know. But generally, just sticking by really simple things has probably seen me through without ever anything serious going wrong. You know, like you hear these entrepreneurs, 1 minute they're bankrupt, 1 minute they're rich, they're stressed, they're up and down, you know, bouncing back, going bankrupt 3 times, thinking about new ideas. And for me, I've just been like, ever since I was like 21 when I started, just that simple thing. Keep doing the right thing. Just keep making keep doing what you think is right. Don't worry so much about the profit and loss, and it'll get there. And I've been really lucky that it's always got there. I remember times when I bought some property, I thought it's got planning permission on it abroad, and then some government rule comes up and says all planning permission is cancelled. And I think, Jesus Christ, you know, that's a terrible situation, but something crops up, you know. So sorry, I'm waffling on. I keep forgetting I'm on a stream. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. That's kind of what happens sometimes in the pod. That's why they go long, is because I'm better at the podcast than I am at Pot Limit Omaha than to you.
I wouldn't bet on that.
You're willing to bet that I'm better at the podcast than I am at Pot Limit Omaha?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I've never been on the stream though, so I keep forgetting I'm on it. I just noticed here.
That's true.
Yeah. I've never done it. I've never been on one of these before.
So why did you decide to come on here then?
Because Rachel was asking me.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched, someone sent me a link of some of your commentaries of me playing. So I thought, bring that up.
That's why you came on here. Let's be honest about this. You came on here because you wanted to take me head on about this commentary stuff.
When I was in Montreal and I said, I don't deal with the money or something. And obviously, like, I think you said, like, God, what a dickhead this guy is or something. And like,
I'm not mean to people when I do commentary, so I definitely didn't say that.
Something like that. Who's this guy think he is or something like that? And
maybe I said you were being big time though. That's true. That's something I would say.
That's like the opposite. That's probably like the opposite. If people that know me would say that I was pretty big time or anything like that, because not the case.
No, yeah, I agree. I think from what I've heard from people, you're definitely the opposite of that. So that's.
But you still thought you'd say it.
But no, I mean, that's kind of a big time thing. You're on the stream. Wait, the guy's trying to say, can I get you waving him away? That is one of the fucking big, you got to admit, that's big timing right there. Whether there's different reasons, of course, other things where came into play and you're stressed out about reaching that guarantee and you just said, okay, let's just get this over with. But that's still big time. You can't be bothered to handle the 200K transfers here. I mean, come on. Come on, exactly. That's my point. Exactly, it is pretty big time.
It's not the monetary. It's not the monetary value. It could be a $2 transfer or a $200,000 transfer. The fact, the principle
that's big time right there. Exactly. That's big time, right? That's.
I said, if you guys are going to messing about my account, just deal with it yourselves, and we'll sort it out at the end of the week, because I've got these problems with the tournament. So it's not the material amount of money; it's the principle, the fact that I was on my phone dealing with this player coming, is that player coming? So
because you're handling more big time matters. You got other pressing. Oh,
yeah, I've seen on TV and I come all the way to South.
Joey, this gentleman's come in. I'm on a stream, and
I just wanted to come in and say hello. That was all.
Okay.
That was it. It's because I've seen you on TV before. Like, I've come all the way down here from Southport, to come and play here.
Right.
And I've just seen you.
I'm pleased to meet you then. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool, man.
It's okay.
No, relax. It's all right.
I just want to.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I've only just started playing the poker for about 18 months, and I've seen you and the Wolf and other people playing on the TV and all that.
Well, we play terrible, don't play like us.
Well, I can't play any better, but so I thought I'd just come down here and see what it's like from dusk till dawn. Like, everyone was going on about it, so I just thought.
Is it all right?
Great, isn't it?
Okay, mate.
It's awesome, and I was just walking past you and I thought, is that him there? There's no way I'd come all the way down here and you was there. So I just had to come in and say hello.
No worries, mate.
All right.
All right. See you later. Good luck. Yeah. Cheers.
Make sure he plays Pot Limit Omaha. Let's get him on the PLO tables. Get him a drink from behind are the bartenders in there the entire time?
No, no, they seem to have gone somewhere else. They've gone somewhere.
All right, let me just roll through a couple more of these questions on Twitter, and then we're gonna go. I'll let you get on with your day over there. Eon Yeo, what was his first job after leaving education? How did he make his money and be able to buy and develop Dusk Till Dawn?
My first job, I left education after a week, and my first job was behind the bar in a hotel, and I quit that after one day. It lasted one day, so that was my first job.
How'd you build up your bankroll to be able to develop Dusk Till Dawn Casino?
I started working. I set up a recruitment company when I was 21 for accountants. But between 18 and 21, I went back and studied and became an accountant. And then I just started from there, and it was a boom industry recruitment in that time. You could charge like 20-25% fees. It's a lot more lower margin now. And just got kind of lucky in the way that when you get into an industry that's a boom industry, you can't really do much wrong. So I just got a 5,000 overdraft from the bank, and the first month I spent 30,000 on advertising for the new business, and I made 100,000 worth of business and just got lucky. I mean, I think the first year I was like 22, and I made like a $1 million profit in the first year. And then I decided just to reinvest that in growing it, and didn't take a penny out myself. And I think the first time I made like enough to buy like a decent car, bought a decent car and stuff like that, but never had a flamboyant lifestyle. And then just get involved in other projects, investments. I think at one point I had like 9 different companies, which was a little bit too much. And then when I was 30, I just decided I don't want to do any more, and I started playing poker for 3 years, and just came back and was able to do Dusk Till Dawn. But I mean, Dusk Till Dawn was a nightmare because the government wouldn't give us a license for 2 years. So I think for 18 months we had 50 staff sitting at home and couldn't work. It was like devastating. It was like a big court case on whether to give us a license or not, because we weren't a legitimate casino. We were a poker venue. They forced us to put some casino games in there. But I think we had like 50 staff. Maybe it was for a year, 18 months. There was a big scandal in the papers about it. You know, they're not going to get a license. And in the end, we managed to get the license and open. And so Dusk Till Dawn was like quite a bit of a kick in the bankroll. But yeah, just I think I just got into the right industry at a very young age.
Right industry and a lot of hard work, it sounds like.
Yeah, I used to work hard. I mean, at one point, I was disciplined. I wasn't happy with how I was performing so I decided to go and live in a hotel for a week, the Marriott Hotel in Birmingham. I rented an apartment in the hotel, exiled myself for a whole year away from everybody, my friends, my family, and because I wasn't happy with my level of performance. I think I was 24 at the time. But I took it very seriously. I used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, be at my desk at 7 o'clock, doing sales, getting ready to start my sales calls. I'd leave at 8 o'clock, go back to my hotel, I'd work again, do the same thing every day for a year. So yeah, I had this like focus. So yeah, I worked my nuts off. But I don't know, I have a disabled sister, Patricia. She's got cerebral palsy. I don't know what you call that in America. 4 years younger than me, and I always wanted to kind of make sure that she was going to be okay. So that was my burning desire to kind of put the work in. So yeah, I'll work tirelessly in my 20s to 3 hours sleep a night, do whatever it takes. I remember my first, I set up an agency, and my first person that I placed, an employee who I was effectively got some temporary work for. I was so desperate. I drove. She didn't have a car. I drove her. I was making £3 an hour on her, and I drove her picked her up from my house, took her to work for my client every day, picked her up when she finished, and took her home. So she was working for 8 hours, making I was making £24 profit. It was costing me probably that in petrol to take my first person that I've ever got a job for to work every day. So yeah, discipline, being able to do to go to those levels of discipline is what's required when you effectively come from nothing. You have to. You're not born with anything, and you want to build something. You have to go to search yourself and go to those levels.
Do you feel like you still have that right now? Do you feel like you're very highly disciplined in terms of what you do?
No, I never have that same focus that I had in my 20s. Now I can get things done a lot quicker. So, for example, in my 20s, it probably take me 3 hours to work something out. Whereas now, because I have experience, I can probably work it out in literally 5 minutes compared to 3 hours. So I don't have to put that intensity in. And also, I get tired quicker now as I'm older. Whereas younger, I was just didn't take drugs or anything, but I was just on it all the time. So definitely, experience and mixing with lots of different people is enabled to be able to see and make decisions quick. But certainly no. I mean, Jesus, I got a 5,000 overdraft for the bank at 21. I had to pay it back. I didn't mean to pay it back. I spent 30,000 advertising in my first month. I'm in the hole, yeah. You need to work your nuts off. So that's how I kind of started. And you have to go to extraordinary lengths to take a 5,000 overdraft and a 30 grand debt, which you probably can't afford to pay. It's a little bit naughty, and convert that into an organization. You have to go to the depths, where you can go to. So yeah,
I think that's a good lesson for people if they're wondering. Oh, little echo. Oh, come back. Stop echo. Oh,
can't hear an echo.
That's just a little bit. Okay, it's gone away. But yeah, actually, one question Kenneth had. Good evening. Does Rob Yong have any books he'd recommend that are business related wise / he really enjoyed?
I think good books. Richard Branson, Losing My Virginity. I've read that, but I don't really read books, to be honest with you. But I just read that because I saw him in a nightclub in London, and I bought his book. Yeah, it's kind of a good book, but generally, I think there's loads of books about business and how how to do this and do that, and people trying to make money selling advice. But I just think like there's like a few basic things you can do, and you're kind of going to do all right. And I've probably talked about a few of those.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going through Twitter here, but might be we got some inline ones, some out of line ones.
I haven't got. I'm lucky. I haven't got Facebook or Twitter, so I'm kind of probably lucky.
No, you probably don't. I mean, it's a lot of distraction. I think that it's so much input you take on a daily basis when you use Twitter and Facebook that it could just be so distracting mentally that you just like my mind when I sit there idly, my mind just default will go to Twitter or go to I wonder what people are up to or that sort of thing. And yeah, I think it's
I haven't got any social media at all, so I don't really see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you miss out on something, or do you feel like you're pretty informed of what's happening, that the stuff that you care about?
I just think that just keep on doing my own thing, my own small thing, and like if you're doing a good job, you'll do a good job, and people will know that. You know, so I don't spend any time on social media at all. I haven't got any social media accounts. I don't even like having a phone, to be honest with you. I didn't have a phone before I did the partnership with Party Poker, but obviously I realized people need to get in touch with me, so I got a phone. But I didn't have a phone before then.
You just got a phone a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of like to be. I didn't want to be checking my phone all the time and be becoming that part of my life. So yeah, I didn't have a phone number until I did the partnership with Party Poker, and obviously they need to be able to get in touch and talk and stuff. So I recognise that, and I'm pretty much guaranteed when I kind of stop working on these projects that I won't have a phone. Then I'll get rid of it. We never. I mean, it sounds terribly old-fashioned, but 25 years ago, mobile phones didn't exist. We kind of did okay.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's correct. 20 is that true? I think there were some cell phones, right? They were the big cell phones, so they were the old school style cell phones.
Yeah, but we didn't have internet on them and didn't have all these different communication tools. You used to meet someone, say, in a city and say goodbye to them. That'll be a memory of them, but now you can keep in touch through Facebook and everything. Everything's a little bit busy and tangled.
Yeah, it's definitely changed these days. I don't know. I feel like there's so much social interaction I take in that I don't necessarily seek out that human interaction just because I get so much on Twitter and Instagram from messages and interacting with people. So it's I don't know. I feel like that's something I'm trying to reverse from my own habits. So
okay, any other questions at all? Or
let me see. I mean, there'll always be questions, but I think we can wrap it. We've got about 2.5 hours. Guys in the chat, if you got one more good question, give it to me. Let me know. Whitecat22 says, I've worked for Rob for most of my working life. I will continue to work for Rob for as long as I am welcome. It's hard to put into words why that is, but I think everyone is getting a glimpse here. I would agree with him completely.
Who's that person?
His name is on here. It's Whitecat22. I don't know what his real name is, but maybe if you want to tell us what your real name is, Whitecat.
No, I'd rather not know. It's fine.
Can be a secret?
Yeah, I'd rather not know. It's fine.
Josh Reese says Rob seems like the coolest boss ever. I gotta admit, Rob, you do seem like a pretty fucking cool boss, man. You seem like you'd be.
That's because I'm not the boss.
Great person to work with.
Work with and not be the boss. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me see here. That's not the good last question. Give me one good last question. Sasha, you got a question? No? Can't hear me. Okay, never mind. Nothing. No? Okay. Best bid? No. Best side bet story? Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up with that. Do you have a best side bet story? Something like, yeah, I mean, you did like that crazy bet with Jake Cody where he won the tournament and then he gambled it all on your roulette wheel. But do you have any sort of best side bet story?
God, I've had so many side bets. I can't think of the best. I mean, I can't actually think of one because I've had all different side bets, and I can't think of one offhand. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Okay, last question. Degen story. Do you have a Degen story for the people out there of a time you may or may not have been a little bit out of line?
Yeah, definitely. Not not at poker, but definitely at sports betting. So it was like an American football game like 5 or 6 years ago, and like I saw these ridiculous odds. What is it? The New York Patriots that play in the snow? Who are the guys that play?
New England Patriots, but
New
yeah,
England.
Yep.
And they had a time where they just didn't ever concede a goal, didn't they? They were just awesome. No one could score up at their place. It was all snowy. I didn't know anything about American football, and I didn't know anything about buying points. There was this ridiculous thing, like ridiculous price about them not conceding a touchdown, and like I just put this ridiculous. It's impossible, not to concede 1 point, and I put this monstrous bet on, and they like won six. They won like 7-0 or something, like they always did at the time, and that's probably like the worst bet that I ever put on. It was a sizable bet as well on a game that I didn't know anything about, and the only reason that I bet on the game was that I switched on my television, and I knew nothing about American football, nothing about New England.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this monstrous bet on, and I kept first 10 minutes first quarter went, no goals. So I did it again. Next quarter goes, I did it again. So basically I put the same bet on, and it got even worse than that. During the last quarter, I was betting every 2 minutes, buying it again. So I ended up with about 35, 40 bets on this one New England game just to concede 1 point. And they won 6 or 7-0. And it's a terrible bet. I'd never watched American football in my life before I put that bet on. And it was 40 bets on the same game.
Have you ever watched it again?
Yeah, I watched 2 nights ago. Quite like it now.
So now you're into American football.
Yeah, I like it. Well, to put 40 bets of a high amount and getting so desperate that you buy effectively just, there must be something happening here. There must be something. And obviously, you know how betting works. The price is changing during the game. If you keep trying to buy, you can keep buy. Somehow get yourself out of it at the end, can't you? But obviously, you're getting better odds every time, aren't you? So yeah, I end up just racking up my biggest ever sports betting loss on something I knew nothing about. And I actually read the prediction. I googled like American New England versus whatever. And the prediction was like from this American guy, New England won't concede a point tonight, and like just telling me, I'm like, it's impossible. Or I think it was a touchdown. Won't concede a touchdown against this team. This team's not scored a touchdown in like 50 games or something ridiculous. New England haven't conceded one for like 50 games. I'm exaggerating. I thought it's impossible. Surely, if they've not conceded a touchdown for like 6 games, the odds are high that they'll concede one now. Obviously, yeah. That's my worst degenerate bet, and complete. And not only did I wipe my sports betting account out, but I went over my margin on the betting, ended up having to pay a sizable amount to the sports betting company.
Sheesh.
I just broke all my margin rules and everything. Just
sheesh. Sasha says, who does he think the best PLO player is?
The best PLO player, what, live or online?
Let's do both, live and online.
I think like online, probably like Ben Tollerine, BT86.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the best live, probably Patrick Antonius, maybe a couple of years ago. When I played against him in a cash game, it was very hard to play. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he plays as aggressive now. He's got a bit older, so takes it easy a bit, but he was tough to play. And I actually didn't know he was Patrick Antonius at the time when I played against him. It was before he became
Patrick Antonius.
Yeah, but he's kind of was. I'm trying to think like. I mean, there's some good Russian guys. I've never really played against live against Jungle Man. Jungle Man was very tough. I played against Jungle Man at Kings. He like all in bluffed me on one hand, and then had the nuts on the second hand. Probably Jungle Man, yeah. I'm thinking now Jungle Man. Jungle Man. Who would I not want to be playing against? Our poker table. Jungle Man.
Yeah. Do you have a Jungle Man impression by any chance?
He just put he put me in uncomfortable positions where I have to make uncomfortable decisions where I'm not. I mean, it just puts massive pressure on you, you know. And there weren't like huge pots I played against him, but put me in situations. I mean, I folded at Omaha. I folded eights full against him on an ace, 8, deuce, 4 board. I open folded eights full against him. He had aces, but a few hands before that, it's a horrible position to be put in. He bluffed me with just a blocker for like a. So yeah, I'd say Jungle Man Live, in terms of the people that I've played against, was the toughest opponent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably feel similar. Jungle Man seems like he not only does really well, but is very hard to play against. So
he just pushed me in awkward spots. I've never played him really at high stakes. I mean, that was high stakes. You know, there was, the bets with hundreds of thousands. It was high stakes, but just uncomfortable. You know, just position awkward where you're having to think about it. Can the guy really have the nuts? Has he really got it? He just bets the same. I think it's this PTO thing they talk about where they just do everything the same. They do it when they're bluffing, and they do it when they've got it. So you just don't know where the hell you are.
DTO, I like that. Let's end the podcast at that note, guys. In the chat, if you enjoyed the video, hit a thumbs up, and if you watch this long, leave a comment in the video below. If you want to follow Rob on social media, you can't. He doesn't have social media, but you can check out Party Poker. You can support Party Poker and support what they stand for the poker players out there as well. And check out their Party Poker live events that do go down all around the world. I'll be at the one in November in the Bahamas. If you guys want to see me down there and maybe see me give Rob a little ass whooping, that's a heads up Pot Limit Omaha. Take him out back and bam, come on, man.
No, I definitely want to play against you because you definitely seem to talk a good game on the commentary. I think I definitely want to play you.
I am good at Pot Limit Omaha. I've played 5 million hands of the game. Okay,
I'm not sure. I'd like to see if you don't mind.
I'll show you. Believe me, I'm going to show you up close and personal.
Good.
No doubt about it. And if not, then I just ran bad. Of course, I didn't play bad. I just ran bad. So it happens.
Okay, so are we all good then?
Yep. Let me stop the broadcast, guys in the chat. Much love. Peace out. Let me stop it. That's it.